across digital platforms. GhanaTalks Radio is not just a station, it is a community hub where your brand becomes part of the conversation. Join us in fostering connections, celebrating culture, and making a lasting impression. For customized sponsorship packages and enquiries, email contact@GhanaTalksRadio.com or call +233 202 544614. GhanaTalks Radio, giving the youth a voice.
What do you want for breakfast? How do you want your breakfast?
English breakfast, French fries.
Koko nikosi, alo komi kesheto.
Wache.
Well, Gobe is the real deal.
Join us on Ghana Talks Radio. Let's serve you a buffet of breakfast.
From news headlines review, current affairs to social issues.
Entertainment, sports, and all the trending stories live on our mobile app and across all socials from Monday to Friday, 7 a.m. to 10 a.m.
With me, Pakwesi Omare,
Regina Bless,
Deborah Adoso,
and I am Esinal Fiagbedu. This is Ghana Talks Breakfast Show.
Ghana Talks Radio, #1.
Lovely listeners of Ghana Talks Radio. Good morning, Ghana. Good morning, wonderful listeners of Ghana Talks Radio. It's yet another beautiful brand new day, and we are here as usual to bring you the latest news making waves in the headlines, from business to politics, from sports to entertainment, and everything in between. We got you covered with the most relevant stories. As usual, remain your host, Esinal Fiagbedu. And today on our news headline review is Miss Regina and Miss Debbie, who will be joining us shortly. Good morning.
Good morning.
How are you doing?
I'm good. What of you?
I'm fine. Why are you smiling so much? And it's gonna be a drop here now.
Oh no, Monday comes with a whole lot of stress. So in order for me not to be stressed, I always put up this positivity.
Ooh.
I want that positive is it aura? Yeah, positive aura around me.
Positive aura.
Yeah.
Oh, that's nice. And mention aura. That reminds me of
Ghana
is it the
Talks
military
Radio,
graduation they had
#1.
on Saturday?
Our president.
Oh my god.
Oh my god. My crush. My everyday crush.
I read the comments and people are like, Aura is actually owing President Mahama right now, because we never expected him to turn out like that.
Yeah. He's the president with C's.
And I must say that he looked cute.
Exactly.
Like he looked good in
Very
that
cute.
outfit.
Friday when I saw the pictures, I was like, I can actually is it bend or break boundaries for this man.
Oh really?
I was
like, yo,
nine.
the president understood the assignment.
Exactly. He's a president with steez, president with composure.
Oh, that's
my
nice.
God. He's
that's
everyone's
nice.
crush. If not everyone, he's my number one crush.
Oh, President John Dramani Mahama.
Married or not married, he's my crush.
Hey,
crush doesn't mean it doesn't come in a bad way. Yeah.
But it means
I can still crush on Isinam.
Yeah, it means you admire
thing.
something particular
Exactly.
about the person.
Yeah.
Producer, please.
Yeah.
All right.
He's jealous.
So yesterday the light out. Oh.
So my viewers, Isinam's viewers, our viewers, can see what I'm wearing. It's not my fault. It's because of ECG. Our president, please solve this thing.
Oh, Charlie, the do
before it's too late.
All right. Enough of that.
Yeah.
Doomso, President's aura. Let's talk about the main deal for today.
Yeah.
All right, moving on. Minority calls on government to urgently resolve Boku conflict. The minority in parliament has urged the government to take immediate and decisive action to find a sustainable resolution to the ongoing conflicts in Boku. According to the group, the current efforts have fallen short of restoring peace and stability to the area. They stressed the need for robust and strategic measures to end the violence and ensure lasting calm. Member of Parliament for Asin South, Reverend John Intin Fojo, cautioned that the failure to de-escalate the situation risks triggering a cycle of reprisals that could further estrange insecurity in the region. He expressed concern over the increasing sophistication of weapons being used in the attacks, raising serious questions about the sources of these arms and the effectiveness of existing measures to prevent their proliferation. Reverend Intim Fojo also stressed that, as a strategic border town, Boku's instability presents a broader national and regional security threat. He said the spread of attacks to other areas, including the Northeast and Ahafo regions, highlights the urgent need for a more coordinated and comprehensive response. So this is coming from the minority in parliament, and they are urging the government to take immediate and decisive action to find a sustainable resolution to the ongoing conflict in Boku. What do you make of that? Because last year or our previous governments came and then they couldn't solve these Boku conflicts. What do you think President Mahama can put in place, or what do you think that the previous administration didn't do well that you would advise this current government to do to solve this Boku conflict?
Okay, so I wouldn't say that our past administration did not really do anything effective to make sure that the Boku conflict was being eradicated. But I would say that they did their own part, but what they did was not effective or good enough. I feel that they didn't really pay much attention to the conflict as it was arising at that time, and now it has escalated. So the best I can say is I wouldn't give strategic measures, but what I can tell our current administration is to make sure that they put all necessary steps in place to make sure that this conflict is ended. And this conflict is not just a mere conflict. This thing can escalate to be a nationwide conflict if care is not taken.
Because as it stands right now, is escalating and then beginning to sound like a nationwide something.
Exactly. And people are dying out of it.
Yeah, people are actually losing their lives out of it.
Just last week, I think I saw an article where 300 people died as a result of this, and schools, institutions are closing down because of this conflict. Very soon a curfew would come where your day-to-day activities will be shortened because
there was
of
actually
this
a curfew, but I don't know how effective it was.
It was, exactly. I think a curfew also came where a military officer was killed was it last month? Just last month, and the military were deployed to that place, torturing a lot of people, both innocent, both accused. They were torturing them.
And I equally saw in the news that a bus with a mom and then her child was actually set on fire.
Exactly. Look at all these. We are in a nation where we prioritize our peace. A nation where we are not known for this conflict all the time. So I wouldn't advise that they just sit back or relax or go to gatherings all the time and just give a mere statement that Boko should make sure that they resort to peace, or Boko should make sure that they come together to form. No, that is not the way forward. You can actually go there, have a chit chat with the elders there, the leaders, the traditional council, they talk to them on way forward on how to make sure that this conflict is being kept.
But do you think the previous government didn't do that? Because I also saw that former Vice President Baumia went there to have a chit chat to try and resolve the issue. But
you know, when you want to eradicate something that is deep rooted, if you want to stop an addiction that is deep rooted in you, you don't just take a second of your time, you don't just take one day of your busy schedule to make sure that that is being eradicated. But it takes a longer period of time with more effective and strategic measures. So it's not only about you going there talking to the traditional councils, but it entails a lot that we behind the scene we don't know about.
But before that, do you have any overview of what the conflict is all about?
I think it started from what is it called, tribal conflict and a chieftaincy conflict. Yeah, that was the problem about, and it's a way back something that these people are fighting over. Chieftaincy, that is dated way back that they are fighting over. I stand to be corrected, but it's between chieftaincy and this tribalistic war. I wouldn't say Boko. I know of a friend who said right here that she has a friend from Boko, and akoye say Boko fan kasano sebio oma semyeden. Sebio, they are quick tempered. They, for them, when they want to solve an issue, it has to be should I say violence. Yes, that is what they resort to as their conflict management. So the effective thing I feel our president or the administration can do is to have or display or put out or outline strategic measures to make sure that all this is kept, and everyone should come together, collaborate, and make sure that this is a success, because this conflict can really harm us. We might think that we are in Accra, it doesn't affect us, but it will get to a point where it will escalate to the point where we all would be under lockdown
if care is not taken. But don't you think that deploying the military to go and fill up that place and make sure there's order will help us?
It would help,
because I've seen that the police officers, especially with the IGP, have actually gone there to also see to it what he can also do. I mean, he's doing everything in his power to make sure that peace is reigning in that region. But it looks like when he went there, they booed him with regards to one statement he made that he's going to offer employment to them and recruit them in the police departments. And then they booed him. They was like, as it stands right now, people's lives are actually at stake. So you offer, even if you offer the job and there's no peace, how will people work?
There's a time for everything. There are certain statements that you should not make at certain ungodly hour. As we all know, these people are having issues with their safety, their peace, and you go there telling them about what? About job, about employing them.
I feel it's a very good initiative.
It is a good initiative, but not at that time. Yes, you have to make sure that the main issue at hand, solve it before you offer any enticing offer to them. At this moment, that is not the perfect thing to do. You have to make sure, you have to find the cause roots of what is actually causing this conflict before you offer anything. Right now, they are not at peace. Some people do not even have the chance to even go out to work because of fear of their lives. The moment you go out, you can be shot dead. You can be hurt at any time, and you're talking about offering them jobs. And
they are not even using just cutlass that you think you can go to the market and actually buy cutlass. They are using guns as well.
Yes.
How are they getting access to these guns?
I wouldn't say, or I wouldn't know.
Or they are hunters, so they use the hunter guns.
Some people, I can have access to a firearm. Once I go to the institute where they offer firearms and I get a registered gun. But some people, we should also ask ourselves, Boko Haram, how do they get these guns? You know, some of these people are in the military force.
Yeah.
Either resigned, either gone on pension, or any of these.
Yeah.
But how do they really get this gun? We don't know. And you know, these people get guns in illegal ways.
So if they are getting the guns in illegal ways, then I think they need to move to those people.
See, at this moment,
And so date,
No.
we haven't seen that
No.
they have arrested anybody with regards to this. Because
when
what
are you going to arrest? Military were deployed there. The officer in charge, or the person in charge of these military personnel, lost his life due to this. And these people do not come out in the open. These people lay ambush for these personnel. They lay ambush for officers. They lay ambush for even individual citizens in the society. They lay ambush. They don't just come out in the open to torture you. They lay ambush to make sure that you are hurt. You understand?
Yeah.
So when we say arrest, I would say arrest will come with a whole lot of strategic
and you feel
ways.
that arrest is even going to escalate
It
the
would-
issue more.
Because you are going to arrest one gang member. Once the whole gang member come for you, they wouldn't even come for you, the military or police personnel, but they will rather vent their anger on the people in that society, will make the issue very worse.
And it looks like they don't regard anybody.
No, they don't.
They are just doing what their
Exactly.
heart tells them to do, and then they are
Whether
doing
a
it.
newborn baby, pregnant, old, young, sick, healthy, they will deal with you.
So the Boko fight is actually escalating, and then very soon maybe it will be declared as a third world war for Ghana. And I think the governments need to put in strategic measures to be able to calm the conflict that is happening in Boko, or else we'll end up not hearing good news, because this is actually a fight that is extending to the Ahafo region as well, and then it's going and then it's spreading, and then it becomes a national war. So if the government or the minister has anything with regards to do, sending the IGP there is a good thing to go and negotiate on how they can put things in place and make everybody feel calm. But I think there should be strict measures that need to be taken so that this fight or this conflict doesn't escalate into something that we wouldn't be ready to handle as a country. Moving on. Mahama launches Feed Ghana project, encourages families and schools to grow their own food. President John Dramani Mahama has launched the Feed Ghana program, a national initiative aimed at boosting local food production, creating jobs, and reducing the country's reliance on imported food. The program was officially introduced in Techimano, Bono East region on Saturday, 12th April. Speaking at the event, President John Dramani Mahama said the initiative, popularly referred to as Yeridria, is centered on practical farming approaches that involve household, schools, communities, and institutions. President John Dramani Mahama urged families to cultivate small backyard gardens. He said growing common vegetables such as tomatoes, onions, garden eggs, and okra at home could help cut food costs while improving diet. Recalling the Operation Feed Yourself campaign of the 1970s, he noted that backyard farming was once common and could be again. Beyond household, President Mahama said the program would also involve senior high schools, particularly those with land. These schools, he noted, will be supported to grow food and rear animals to support their kitchens and supplement the school feeding program. So finally, President John Dramani Mahama has launched the Feed Ghana project, and then he is encouraging families and schools to grow their own food in order to create jobs and reduce the country's reliance on imported food. What's your whole overview on this? How do you think it's going to help our economy as well?
It would really help our economy because as it stands now, our day-to-day activity is centered on food. There are even times where, even when we come to work here, we would be thinking, oh, it's now, what would we be eating? Oh, Reggie, what would we eat? Hey, I'm hungry. What should we eat? Yubab. So, food especially is something we can't do without.
Oh, okay.
It is part of us, and it would be part of us. It would be part of us. And with what he's saying, that feed ourselves operation, someone would say that feed Ghana program. Someone would say that ayamyama sase. But way back when if I remember, or if I recall, when I was growing up, I saw a time where my mom, what is it called? Planted cocoyam, sugarcane, plantain, cassava, a whole lot, and we were benefiting from it to the extent that it was extended to other people who also needed those foodstuffs. So this is not the time where you go out to waste money on foodstuffs. There's something called petty foodstuffs, where as a domestic or as an individual you can get. And also there's one for the commercial use, where you go out there, buy it in bulk and sell it to people. So with we ourselves planting our own vegetables, our own food, it will really help and cut down cost. And also with the schools, we know of schools who have big lands, vast acres of land,
fertile land, for that matter,
and this land are just lying bare just like that without no use. So with them, they'll be supported to plant enough fruit, plant enough vegetables, plant enough food for the people in the school, and also rare animals. It even gets to a point where this would even create jobs. And you know, the students themselves cannot make sure that all these things are done by themselves, even though in some schools there are agricultural sectors, but all these students can't do everything by themselves. That is where the creating of jobs comes in. People will be employed to make sure to see to the day-to-day activity of the farm. So I personally, my opinion, I feel that it's a good thing and it's a good initiative.
Yeah, this is actually a good initiative that is going to help us as a country, and then it's going to reduce the rate at which we import food stuff. Now, Burkina Faso is growing their own tomatoes. Yesterday, I saw Wudimaya cultivated a lot of tomatoes from a farm in Burkina Faso, and I was like, but Ghana, we are actually blessed with vegetation, so why don't we do this? And that took me back to when the previous administration came in. They were like, planting for food and jobs. To date, we haven't seen anything with that. And I keep asking myself, why is it that President Mahama doesn't take it from there, but now comes again to launch another one and names it Feed Ghana Project?
Please,
is it not the same?
We are resetting.
Is it not the resetting?
Please, we are resetting. You know the mentality where I'm not a political analyst, but the little I know, any administration comes into power, any party comes into power, and they make sure that they initiate their own thing, something that we can recognize them with.
So why don't they just pick up from where MPP left?
No, they don't want to, and we don't want to. They should start their own thing, and they should make sure that what they've started, they should end it.
You are being biased.
I'm not being biased.
That.
Oh no, planting for food and jobs, as she said. Where did it? So
I think this is where
it's the same thing.
Yeah,
it's the same thing, but just a different name.
So why don't you go back and then assess what the previous government did, what they didn't do better, so that you can make it better?
It will take a
with
long
that
time.
you be like, okay, NDC came to power and this is what the MPP lacked and they didn't do better, so we have come, as they are saying, go resetting, so you do it properly. And so why do you need to?
Everyone wants credit for his or her work.
We understand that. I remember when the late President Jonathan Mills, when he started, when was it Kufuor started the N1, and then late President John Atta Mills completed it. Did he die?
They didn't die, but they came together to make sure that it was commissioned.
So why? Yeah, they came together and made sure.
What is stopping our NPP and NDC from doing the same? I would say that these are political parties. I wouldn't say selfish, but they are selfish.
But
they have their own interest at hand. So that I'll be acknowledged, I'll be recognized for it.
So looking at what the current government
but Mahama is doing it with Agenda 111, he can choose not to continue it because it's not his initiative.
If he chooses not to continue, and that means he's in for his own selfish game, but not for the progress of the country.
So what of Akufo-Addo?
That one is his own carelessness and negligence that led him there.
So you're also being biased?
No, I'm not being biased, but assuming that it's good to leave a legacy wherever you go, yeah. But Mama said he was going to build hospitals.
Yeah.
So why don't you continue with what someone has started, and then you want to start a whole foundation? That is you wasting money.
You know,
because you are starting from scratch.
Okay, so they give you a deteriorating, almost collapsed, bankrupt company.
Not to cut you, but looking at the Agenda 111, do they look deteriorated?
They look.
Oh,
yes.
you think
they
so?
They do, but even
you've seen some already.
Not the building on its own. Oh, the building is looking fine, but it just needs one or two equipment to operationalize it. But looking at the kind of money that was invested into it, and looking at the project that these people brought to us, does it make sense to you? I'm not a contractor. I don't know the kind of money you need to build a hospital. But hello,
the Operation Feed Ghana is a good initiative. But my problem is, why couldn't we pick up from what the NPP left with regards to their planting for food and jobs?
I said it's resetting. They are resetting.
My sister. All right. Miss David, do you have anything to say with regards to this?
With regards to what you are saying, I mean, Muhammad did not really specify that it is a new initiative. I feel like it's the same as the old thing we've experienced before, but they just kind of add some new. I mean, it's like adding new spices to it to make it more attractive. If you're adding new
spices, why won't you continue from?
It is the same thing. It depends, sir. Planting for food and job, feed Ghana. It is planting for food and job. You plant, at the end of the day, we cultivate more food, and then it creates employment for the youth. Feed Ghana is also the same thing. And you and I can testify to the fact that we import almost everything in this country. Not to talk about chicken. You know, that's why he's bringing the Nkoko Kitten Kitten initiative, where, I mean, a household can raw or bring up bets, and then at the end of the day it's produce a lot, and then we the citizens are going to enjoy. And trust me, it's going to create more jobs for the youth. So it's not about bringing a new initiative. I feel like it's the old one, and then they are trying to change certain things and then add a bit spicy to it to make it more attractive and beneficial.
All right, I don't want to go on the banter with this. We'll come back to it later. Moving on to our last headline. Government's poor communication hindered in Team Forger's cooperation. The Deputy General Secretary of the New Patriotic Party, Haruna Mohammed, has shed light on why Asen South Member of Parliament, Reverend Intim Forger, refused to cooperate with security agencies regarding his claims about 2 aircraft allegedly transporting illicit drugs and laundered money into Ghana. President John Dramani Mahama has directed security agencies to collaborate with the MP to investigate the allegations. However, the directive was soon undercut by public comments from Felix Ofosu-Kwakye, Minister of State in charge of government communication, who dismissed the claims as baseless and accused Reverend Forger of spreading misinformation to tarnish the government's image. Tensions escalated when officials from the National Intelligence Bureau attempted to arrest Reverend Forger. The move was blocked by members of the minority in Parliament, who cited the law of a valid arrest warrant and accused the agency of bypassing due process. Haruna Mohammed said Reverend Forger's willingness to cooperate was undermined by the government's swift dismissal of his allegation. He criticized Felix Ofosu-Kwakye for prejudging the matter and compromising the integrity of the investigative process. Yeah. So this is with regards to Intim Fojo's allegation that 2 aircraft landed at the Kotoka International Airport and was allegedly transporting illicit drugs and laundered money into Ghana. And Mr. Haruna Mohammed is saying that Reverend Intim Fojo has failed to cooperate simply because communication didn't go well. Do you agree with him? Because immediately he made claims that the aircraft that landed at Kotoka International Airport was carrying drugs and then money. Then we saw a communique from Mr. Ofosu Kwache debunking it and saying that it is baseless, without even giving Intim Fojo the time to even come out to be like, oh, I have evidence. So why are you
that's the communication you are talking about?
Yes, that it wasn't right for Ofosu Kwache to come out and then debunk the allegations like that. At least call Intim Fojo and ask him, do you think that was done before Ofosu Kwache came out to give a press statement that what he's saying is baseless? And then
I'm not really getting it, but I don't want to say that this doesn't make sense to me.
That he didn't communicate well with Intim Fojo. That is why he has failed to cooperate with the national security.
No. When we are talking about communication here, and they are trying to say that the government is at fault for not communicating well, then I also feel that Intim Fojo is also at fault for not communicating well. Both of them, it all boils down to communication. You come out to communicate with us or to relay information to us, telling us that 2 aircrafts, you are suspecting them for what? Illicit drug activities, right? Did that communication go down well with you? No evidence.
Yeah.
Nothing. So
no, but did they ask him before they came out to say it was baseless?
Why should so if I no, what I meant to Papa, should I come and ask you, say, oh, Esinam, I heard that you said this and this and this about me. Something, not even rumors. So I heard you when you were saying it. The videos are flying about. You were saying it. And I should come out personally, approach you and ask you 1 or 2 questions. No.
I think it's right for you to come and ask me.
Really, then it's also right that Intim Fojo meet with the majority leaders or meet with parliamentarians and relay that information to them, rather than you coming out publicly to say it. So I believe that Felix Kwache also has the right to also come out publicly to say whatever he had to say. This is a two-way something. You do yours right, I also do my right. So you think, regardless of who is wrong or who is right.
So you feel like if he would have gone backdoor or maybe
but why are they now accusing the government for not communicating well? Did the person who said that communicate well?
I can't speak to that.
Unless we go back and become political analysts.
All right, Miss Debbie.
I don't know why they have to blame Felix Ofosu, right, for not communicating well, because he speaks. I mean, whatever the president conveys, he brings it out, and then it gets to our hearing. Now, you asked that why is it that he didn't go back doors to communicate to him when what's the name, Intim Fojo came out to make that expose? Were we told that he went back doors to communicate with maybe the people he needs to communicate with to verify his claim and ensure that what he's putting out there is not going to cause another chaos? We should be asking ourselves that question. You came out, you made, an expose, and this is a serious issue because one, it's putting the country out there in a negative way. We are talking about smuggling of cocaine here, and this is not something that we need to play with. So for me, I feel like no one that was the name Felix shouldn't be blamed because they communicated well. For me, I feel like they communicated well. What's the name? Intim Fojo, right? So you came out to make a plea, and then you came out to bring out an expose or whatever it is, and you were fully convinced that what you were putting out there was the truth. So why then are you now trying to blame someone for not communicating well or for not relaying the information well? It will start from whoever brought that information out there. So if they want to talk about who didn't communicate well or who communicated well, I think it should start from the top. They should look at it, whether the person who brought out that information also did his verification very well before putting that information out there. Because you don't expect the government to just keep quiet because you put that information out there. And was he even expecting permission? They should seek your permission before they come out to say what they are supposed to say regarding what it puts out there. And this will be the same people that if the government didn't come out to say anything about it, they will still complain.
All right, so let me ask this last question briefly, 1 minute each. What are you expecting the outcome of this whole Intim Fojo Buhaha? Well, what are you expecting to come out of it?
Simple. He came out with an expose. We should ensure that every bit of truth that we need to know should be revealed to us.
Right.
And there shouldn't be a case where we hear of it and then within a twinkle of an eye, it's dead and gone.
All right.
I know you coming out to say something to me. It means you are fully prepared. You have your evidence and everything that it takes. So this shouldn't be... Like, by now we should be done with this issue. Because, you see, they are trying to drag the issue. If you have full evidence, you shouldn't be complaining. So for me, as I said, very simple. They should make sure they get down to the roots of this case. Because even the Air Med flight is claiming that they have no hand in any illegal activities whatsoever he's talking about. So they should get down to the roots of the issue. Whoever is culpable, should be held responsible. Even if it comes out that what Intim Fojo is saying it's not the right thing, you should be held responsible, so that next time you won't come out to say... I saw a member of parliament yesterday saying that you don't have to eat palm nut soup, and they wake up the next day and they're talking as if you don't know what you are saying. So that's it.
Miss Regina.
Okay,
Briefly.
so I think that they need to start the rule of disinformation and misinformation on Intim Fojo.
Right.
He needs to be used as a scapegoat. Unless that he has concrete and valid evidence to support his claims. Growing up, I know that as humans, before you open your mouth to talk, you need to have evidence before you open your mouth to talk. You don't just open your mouth like a loose tap. You open, then it's opening. But on a more serious note, he needs to be used as a scapegoat, regardless, true or false. The misinformation and disinformation these politicians are giving out is on the rise. They know that, I would say it and nothing will be done to me because I'm a politician, because I'm influential in the society, because I'm in parliament, because I have someone who would support me. So the rate at which they come out with false information, I'm not saying Intim Fojo's case is false, but okay.
All right. Thank you so much. This is where we draw the curtains for our news headline review today. Sorry. I'm just in a hurry for Tuesday. This is where we draw the curtains for our news headline review today. Thank you so much for staying with us. Up next, we have Debbie's Girl.
It's another brand new Monday morning. Good morning and thank you for always making time with me on Debbie's Grill as we grow toast and bring out the truth on issues that matters to the state. Now, my attention was drawn to something the previous week that has to do with indiscipline in our schools. We focus so much about setting, the economy and stuff, and I know it's very, very important. But let's look at our schools. The indiscipline indiscipline of late in our basic schools and secondary schools is becoming very rampant, and I feel like we are not doing what we are supposed to do or taking the needed steps we need to take to make sure that such indisciplines do not happen again. I mean, I'm not that grown though, but I quite remember those times when you're coming to school. I mean, the kind of discipline that the school is exhibiting. You cannot even do certain things in the school. You cannot wake up and then all of a sudden you show certain attitude towards your colleagues in school or your teachers, and you're being allowed to go scot-free. And most of our parents those times actually backs this disciplinary rules that have been set in our schools to make sure that students are on track. But since discipline roles have been taken off and scrapped in our schools, what have been happening of late in the schools is nothing to write home about. I mean, we're here where we saw videos where a student using cutlass to lash his fellow colleague, which I know even your teacher wouldn't use a cutlass to lash you. And I remember those times in schools where, I mean, your seniors, they want to show you a bit of the pepper. I mean, you understand, if you've done something wrong, but not to the extent of using cutlass to lash your fellow colleague. And as if that wasn't enough, in the northern region, a teacher was stabbed in the eye because he felt like his student was doing something wrong and he needs to correct him. And that issue, up to now, we heard nothing about it. And same on this indiscipline issue, 2 students who were actually arguing on whose parent is rich ended up stabbing his fellow colleague, and he is dead and gone. And the recent issue at hand is one student, Pinaman Susan, who was shot in the eye by his fellow colleague. And all these things are points that needs to, awaken us from our slumber, that we are keeping too much. We are being mute on when it has to do with discipline in our secondary schools. Going to school is not only about going to the class to learn or for the teacher to teach you. All these things also count. And in schools where there is no discipline, then what sort of generation are we molding? Because these are people we are molding for the future. Trust me, 20 or 50 years to come, I wouldn't be here, you wouldn't be here. These are the same people that are coming to take over. And these same people, or these same young generations that are supposed to go through some disciplinary processes to mold them, build them, and ensure that they have the potential. They are good or solid enough to lead the country. The same generation has been left to do whatever they want to do because they said we shouldn't lash them, they said we shouldn't cane them, and any teacher that is caught disciplining a student will be arrested. It doesn't make sense. We tend to learn from this Western world, but we are learning blindly. We are actually learning blindly. It's causing us more harm. Now, this innocent child has been shot in her eyes, and as it stands now, she cannot see properly. She cannot see properly because of one reckless way his colleagues, exhibited. So she's blind, partially blind, and it looks as if we are quiet. Resetting the country has to do with a lot. Let's focus on the educational sector as well. And as much as we want to do anything possible to make sure that our education system is solidly or firmly grounded, we should put more pay more attention when it has to do with discipline, because this also counts. It all counts. I'm sure we wouldn't be here if we didn't pass through those, the hands of those disciplined teachers. We have teachers who can actually discipline you, and then you wake up and you don't feel like coming to school. And those times we feel like our teachers, they didn't like us. But trust me, growing up, I've come to realize that, see, those teachers really helped my life. And we don't want to pay attention to it. And it's causing more harms. Let's bring back those discipline roles that we used to, our teachers used to, exhibit in our schools. Let's bring back those kind of discipline reforms again. Because it's causing more harm. Students are going wayward. I saw a video where male students were harassing students, female students, and then they went to report, and the teachers were, there is nothing they can do, because if the teacher should say something right now or cane the student, he will end up being jailed, because they said, don't cane, don't lash. And we think that is good. That isn't the right way to go. It isn't the right way to go. Discipline will always shape you to become whoever you want to be in future. Even in institutions where there are no discipline, trust me, there is no way you are going to see progress, because everything you have to do has to come with you being so disciplined. Let's bring back that form of discipline in our schools again, and ensure that all those students that are causing such chaos and putting their colleagues into a mess, they should be arrested and ensure that they face the law. But as a student, if you have this thought in mind to use cutlass to lash your fellow colleague, you shouldn't be allowed to go scot-free. No. If the students are being punished, it will serve as a deterrent to other students. They will be used as an scapegoat to other students. But in a case where the student commits a crime and they are being left to go scot-free, trust me, it's going to rise, and we are going to see more than what we are seeing now if we don't do anything about it. So to our education ministry, you are doing a lot, but there are more to do. Recently, I saw the education minister trying his possible best to ensure that everything is on track. But please, in as much as we are doing that, let's pay attention to this as well. Because these same people are going to grow up to become leaders of this nation. And if a leader, as at this stage, can pick a gun and shot his fellow colleague in the eye, then what if this person is being given a leadership role one day in the future? It means all of us are going to be dead and gone. So let's pay attention to it and make sure that we uproot it now, and don't wait for it to grow before we start to do something about it. As the saying goes, prevention is better than cure. Thanks for making time with me on Debbie's Grill.
Thank you so much. And that was the Debbie's Grill. Miss Regina, what do you have for us?
For having me. You are welcome to Today in History, and live on GhanaTalks Breakfast Show, where we entertain and educate you on fascinating facts. So today in history, 1865, actor John Wilkes Booth entered the presidential box at Ford Theater in Washington, D.C., and fatally shot President Abraham Lincoln. As Lincoln slammed forward in his seat, Booth leaped onto the stage and escaped out the back door. The paralyzed president was immediately examined by a doctor in the audience and then carried across the street to the Peterson House, where he died early the next morning. 1775. First American Abolition Society, founded in Philadelphia. The Society for the Relief of Free Negroes Unlawfully Held in Bondage, the first American society dedicated to the cause of abolition, is founded in Philadelphia on April 14, 1775. The society changes its name to the Pennsylvania Society for Promoting the Abolition of Slavery and the Relief of Free Negroes Unlawfully Held in Bondage. 1932, Loretta Lynn is born, a singer who greatly expanded the opportunities for women in the more dominated world of country western music. Is born in Butcher Hollow, Kentucky on April 14, 1932. 1986, today in history. U.S. bombs terrorist and military targets in Libya. The United States launches airstrikes against Libya in retaliation for the Libyan sponsorship of terrorism against American troops and citizens. The raid, which began shortly before 7 p.m., involved more than 100 U.S. Air Force and Navy aircraft and was over within an hour. 5 military targets and terrorism centers were hit, including the headquarters of Libyan leader al-Gaddafi. 2014, 275 girls are kidnapped in Chibok, Nigeria. The Islamic movement Boko Haram kidnapped the girls from a boarding school in Chibok, Nigeria, the night between 14th to 15th of April. The incident sparked global outrage and the hashtag Bring Back Our Girls campaign. Some managed to escape, but others still remain missing as to today. Moving to some Did You Know for today. Did you know that walking can reduce the risk of heart diseases? Regular walking can help lower blood pressure, improve circulation, and reduce the risk of heart disease. So we plead that you do more of walking than taking transport. Did you know that getting enough sleep is essential for weight management, because lack of sleep can disrupt hormones that regulate hunger and fullness, leading to potential weight gain? When sleep is deprived, the body can produce more of the hunger hormone, that is ghrelin, and less of the satiety hormone, leptin, making you feel hungrier and potentially overeating. To our last Did You Know for today. Did you know that research shows that practicing gratitude can significantly improve mental health by reducing stress, anxiety, and depression? By focusing on the positive aspect of life, gratitude shifts attention away from stresses, boosting mood and fostering resilience. So we should make sure that we practice gratitude at all times. This is where I end today's Today in History and Did You Know, live on GhanaTalks Breakfast Show.
Thank you so much, Miss Regina Bless. I think I agree with the
Gratitude.
with the gratitude, because some people actually wish what you are having, and then you don't want to show gratitude, or you don't want to be grateful for it. That is you being kind of like ungrateful.
Why should you be ungrateful? Like,
Hey,
you have life.
you have life.
You have a whole lot of things, and you know, it's not only gratitude is not only appreciating what is around you or appreciating life as a whole, but when someone gives you something, you should also make sure to say thank you.
Thank you.
Because you know, we were brought up in a way, you need to say thank you to me. The next
morning,
thank you again. If you don't say it, I'll be like, next time in yes, that is how.
But must you always be expecting that someone says thank you after you give them something?
You don't need to expect thank you, but as a logical human being, that you are okay upstairs, you should know that when someone gives you something, you are supposed to say thank you. You shouldn't wait for the person to come to you and ask for a thank you.
You are speaking with so much passion.
Because
have you experienced
I have experienced it, and it's really painful
for you to give somebody something
and you don't
and then don't say thank you.
Thank you comes with a whole lot, especially to make sure that what you gave to the person appreciates it.
Exactly.
If you don't say thank you, it looks like you don't value or appreciate what was given to you. So it also boosts our morale. So next time, if I see something, I can get it for you.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, I also feel like it's not only about maybe you give to someone something. Someone can help you in any other way, maybe encouragement or something. You can also say thank you. Yeah. And the more you tell the person thank you simply means that you're telling me that what you've done, I'm
yes.
grateful. So do more. So you now, if one Chelsea think you're happy, you feel like next time message you in view.
So why do you think people do not show gratitude? Do you think it's lack of home training or lack of ingratitude or what?
No, some people just feel like this thing, there is no need. Why should I even say thank you?
Well,
there
I
are people
feel
like
that's
that.
bad.
Wow.
It's very bad, but there are people who do not really feel like should I, and you know, sorry, those people will even tell you that now we so means I can't say thank you, like just to get you annoyed. So.
All right, wait. So men sound can't just say thank you, and that's how you lose opportunities in life. All right, this is where we draw the curtains for the first segment of the Ghana Talks Breakfast Show. Thank you so much for joining us. Please stick and stay with us.
Are you ready to amplify your business or brand's reach and make a meaningful impact in Ghana and beyond? Partner with Ghana Talks Radio today to connect with a diverse audience across Ghana and beyond. Elevate your brand through on-air promotions and social media. Boost your brand during prime time. With Ghana Talks Radio, you can extend your reach across digital platforms. Ghana Talks Radio is not just a station, it is a community hub where your brand becomes part of the conversation. Join us in fostering connections, celebrating culture, and making a lasting impression. For customized sponsorship packages and enquiries, email contact@GhanaTalksRadio.com or call +233 202 544614. Ghana Talks Radio, giving the youth a voice.
What do you want for breakfast? How do you want your breakfast?
English breakfast, French fries,
Koko Nikosi, alo komi kesheto.
wache.
Well, Gobe is the real deal.
Join us on Ghana Talks Radio. Let's serve you a buffet of breakfast.
From news headlines review, current affairs to social issues.
Entertainment, sports, and all the trending stories live on our mobile app and across all socials from Monday to Friday, 7 a.m. to 10 a.m.
With me, Pakwesi Omare.
Regina Bless.
Deborah Adoso.
And I am Esinal Fiagbedu. This is Ghana Talks Breakfast Show.
We bring you local news, business news, international, sports, and entertainment news. Right here on GTR.
Good morning and welcome to the morning news break. Good morning and welcome to the morning broadcast news on Ghana Talks Radio. My name is Deborah Adoso. Coming up, President Mahama launches Feed Ghana program to revamp agricultural sector. National Road Safety Authority orders 21-day removal of billboards from food bridges and overpasses in Greater Accra. National Service Authority Staff Union condemns political interference in internal operations. A party looms in Okankwe North as National Democratic Congress denounced the municipal chief executive in related development. The NDC supporters in Telansi reject DCE nominee over alleged new patriotic party ties. These and many more coming up shortly in business, sports, and showbiz. Just stay with me. Now to our very first story, President John Dramani Mahama has officially launched the Feed Ghana program to revamp the agricultural sector and ensure long-term food security and economic growth. The initiative marks a pivotal step in transforming agriculture across the country, promising a prosperous future for farmers, local communities, and the nation at large. Along with the government's broader agenda of securing Ghana's agricultural future, the program program launch opens a new chapter in harnessing the region's vast farming potential. Delivering keynote address, President John Dramani Mahama emphasized the critical role agriculture plays in Ghana's socio-economic development. He outlined the ambitious goals of the Feed Ghana initiative, including modernizing the sector, achieving food self-sufficiency, reducing the nation's food import bill, currently estimated at over 2 billion annually, boosting exports and creating sustainable jobs for the youth. The president also outlined key components of the Key Feed Ghana program, including the establishment of farmers service centers across all districts. These centers is aimed at providing vital support such as training, technical assistance, and market information to farmers. The Feed Ghana program represents a significant investment in the country's agricultural sector. Its success will be vital in achieving food security, driving economic growth, and improving the livelihoods of millions of Ghanaians. President Mahama also emphasized on government's plan to initiate its poultry industry revitalization program termed as Nkoko Nkete to reduce the country's heavy reliance on chicken imports with a cost of 300 million annually. He made this revelation at the launch of the initiative in the Bono region.
Your Excellency, we must be blunt. Any attempt to bypass Abdul Rashid Issa respectfully in the selection of the next MCE for Okankwe North Municipality will be met with deep disappointment, resistance, and potential demoralization among.
Moving on, the National Road Safety Authority has given assemblies in the Greater Accra 21 days to remove billboards from footbridges and overpasses. This directive follows concerns that such advertising structures violate services advertising specification for outdoor signs GS 847/2019, which clearly states that the primary and sole function of road and bridges gantries shall be for the purpose of traffic management. According to the National Road Safety Authorities, assemblies have 21 days to comply with the directives, after which enforcement measures will be taken against defaulters. The authority emphasized that the move is in the interest of public safety. They are therefore calling on all stakeholders, including advertisers and municipal authorities, to collaborate in complying with the order to ensure safer roads environment. Now to other story, the staff union of the National Service Authority NSA under the National Service Authority Staff Union has condemned what it describes as attempt by political party foot soldiers to hijack the operations of the authority. In a press release and signed by the National Service Authority Staff Union Chairman Ayubi Edubofo expressed concern over growing political interference in the authorities' internal affairs. The union warned that such interference undermines democratic principles, erodes public trust, and compromises the integrity of state institutions. The union reiterated that all recruitment and internal transfers are governed by the National Service Authority Act 2024, the Public Service Commission Act 1994, and Article 195 of the 1992 Constitution. They urge the youth of the Western region, where tensions have reportedly arisen, to exercise restraint and allow the management of the authority to function within the confines of the law. It also called on the NSA management to strictly adhere to the guiding legal and institutional frameworks to maintain the integrity of the authority. Additionally, they appealed to the government to shield public institutions such as the National Service Authority from undue political influence and advised political parties to refrain from the using of the authority as a tool for partisan gain. Now, a concerned youth group of the National Democratic Congress in the Okankwe North constituency has vowed to be apathetic towards the party should their preferred candidate Abdul Rashid Issa be denied the Okankwe North Municipal Chief Executive position. This follows speculations about the potential appointment of candidates from Okankwe North constituency, a sister constituency of the Okankwe North municipality. The group, during a media briefing on April 13th, accused the governing National Democratic Congress of continued neglect despite its contribution to the party's political fortunes. The branch executive and spokesperson for the group, Abbas Yusuf Hussein, says he will bring inclusiveness, harmony, and participatory governance. He stressed that any attempt to sideline their preferred candidate in the selection of the next municipal chief executive for Okankwe North municipality will be addressed with deep disappointment, resistance, and potential demoralization among party faithfuls.
Core party faithfuls. We cannot allow technocrats with no grasp. Your Excellency, we must be blunt. Any attempt to bypass Abdul Rashid Issa respectfully in the selection of the next MCE for Okankwe North municipality will be met with deep disappointment, resistance, and potential demoralization among core party faithfuls. We cannot allow technocrats with no grassroots connection, no sacrifices, to show up and have no base of support to be parachuted into leadership positions while those who toiled in the trenches are sidelined.
And that was the concern of some aggrieved youth of the National Democratic Congress in the Okankwe North. In related news, some aggrieved members of the National Democratic Congress in the Telanse constituency have rejected the nomination of John Milim Nawumia as district chief executive. The group cited his alleged close ties with the New Patriotic Party and warned it could affect the party's fortune in the 2028 elections. The nomination of John Milim, announced on April 11, was followed by a suspected arson attack that destroyed the National Democratic Constituency office. Speaking at a press conference, the spokesperson for the aggrieved NDC members, Charles Kinlu, called on President John Dramani Mahama to withdraw the nominee immediately, citing concerns about party unity and local support.
We reliably informed that the state security apparatus gathered intelligence during the vetting process that John Milim Nawumia was not suitable for the DCE position, and that the state security apparatus filed a situational report to the national security during the vetting process that there would be a chaos in Talensi district if John Milim Nawumia was there, would be nominated as DCE. We plead that the President John Dramani Mahama demand a further background checks on this nominee, and he should demand a copy of the report, because we believe the report was hidden from him prior to the nomination. Doing so would not only serve the image of the NDC, but also ensure to the peace and security of the Talensi district, as reportedly highlighted in the report.
Now to other stories, the Petroleum Hub's Chief Executive Officer, Dr. Tony Abin, has raised concerns about the government handling of land compensation for the Petroleum Hub project. According to him, the Akufo-Addo government didn't release the promised 250 million for compensating owners of the 20,000-acre land in the Western Nzima traditional area. The government compulsory acquired 20,000 acres of land for projects sparking concerns about the rights and interests of local community. However, Dr. Tony claims the promised funds for compensation were never released, affecting livelihoods of land owners. Meanwhile, the petroleum hub expected to boost Ghana's economy has been met by controversy and concerns about community engagement. In his assurance to the chiefs, he elaborates that steps will be taken to address the issue and provide some relief to affected landowners. He spoke to the media.
New leadership is working assiduously to ensure that some beginning is seen in the payment of compensation. I cannot put my finger on time, but I know that we are far advanced in trying to get some resources to do that. See, unfortunately, when the former president was leaving the office and the tape for the project was cut, there was a very categorical assurance that, and I quote, I have instructed my finance minister to release an amount of 250 million cedis to begin the compensation payment. This was very categorical, this was very instructive. Unfortunately, for reasons that I don't know, not a single penny was released. So it created some challenge as to what was there to be used. But President is keen, our President John Mahama is very keen to see the project, so he's actually taxed us.
In the world of business, the United States justifies the tariff first introduced under former President Donald Trump are being reinforced in 2025 as a response to what it terms unfair trade practices. But for many African nations operating under the African Growth and Opportunity Act, the move undermines long-standing trade partnership and raises serious questions about the continent standing in global negotiations. In 2024, Africa's total GDP stands at around 2.8 trillion, less than 1/10 of the United States GDP, which exceeds 29 trillion. Ghana contributes about 234 billion to the global pie. On their own, African economies appear small, but together they represent a growing market, vast natural resources, and the youngest population in the world. Ambassador Hegazi says that strength lies not in size but in unity. It's not about one country standing in opposition to the United States, but about a continent that believes in itself and in a strategic relationship with the United States, one that must be negotiated collectively so we can secure the concession due to us as a continent. He insists Africa must move from merely reacting to global shocks to strategically shaping them. We must seek Africa-led solutions. Africans are talented, resourceful, and resilient, and many of the challenges we face are shared. Success in one country can be replicated in others. Let's appoint an envoy, craft a clear, unified message, and make sure Washington hears it. He says the former diplomat points to Egypt's own development strides, particularly the building of its new administrative capital, as a model that could inspire continental urban development strategy. He believes Africa has the institutions, capacity, and willpower to negotiate as equals. As competition for influence on the continent grows between global powers, Dr. Hegazi warned that the United States risks losing its strategic advantage if it fails to engage African respectively and seriously. The proposed path forward is not confrontation, he clarified. Perhaps we can propose a new vision that represents all concepts of continent. He urged African nations to deepen partnerships, learn from each other, and reshape the global narrative around the continent. Now to some sports, Ghana's under-20 men's national team, the Black Satellite, have been drawn into a challenging Group C at the upcoming 2025 Total Energies CAF Under-20 African Cup of Nations AFCON, where they will face defending champions Senegal, VR Congo, and the Central African Republic. The revised draw conducted by the Confederation of African Football on Sunday followed the withdrawal of Cote d'Ivoire as tournament host. Egypt has since stepped in a stage the prestigious youth competition, which will run from April 27th to May 18th, 2025. The restructured tournament will feature 13 teams from across the continent, divided into 3 groups, one comprising 5 teams and the remaining 2 featuring 4 teams each. The top sides from each group, along with the 2 best third place teams, will progress to quarter-final stage. Group C is already being touted as one of the most competitive of the tournament, with Ghana set to battle reigning champion Senegal, a side that lifted the trophy in 2023. The Black Satellite will also contend with the physical challenge of DR Congo and the growing threat posed by the Central African Republic. The Under-20 AFCON has a rich legacy of unearthing African football next big stars. Previous editions have served as a launching pads for global icons such as Mohamed Salah, Andrew Ayew, and Victor. As the continent's finest young talent prepare to light up Egyptian stadiums, Ghana will be aiming to revive its illustrious youth football and reclaim its place among the elite. And that's how we wrap up for today on the Morning News broadcast. My name is Deborah Adoso. As always, don't forget to log on to all streaming platforms at GhanaTalksRadio.com for more detailed news updates. Until then, stay tuned. Do have a good morning.
Are you ready to amplify your business or brand's reach and make a meaningful impact in Ghana and beyond? Partner with Ghana Talks Radio today to connect with a diverse audience across Ghana and beyond. Elevate your brand through on-air promotions and social media. Boost your brand during prime time. With Ghana Talks Radio, you can extend your reach across digital platforms. Ghana Talks Radio is not just a station, it is a community hub where your brand becomes part of the conversation. Join us in fostering connections, celebrating culture, and making a lasting impression. For customized sponsorship packages and enquiries, email contact@GhanaTalksRadio.com or call +233 202 544614. Ghana Talks Radio, giving the youth a voice.
What do you want for breakfast? How do you want your breakfast?
English breakfast, French fries,
Koko Nikosi, alo komi kesheto.
wache.
Well, Gobe is the real deal.
Join us on Ghana Talks Radio. Let's serve you a buffet of breakfast.
From news headlines review, current affairs to social issues.
Entertainment, sports, and all the trending stories live on our mobile app and across all socials from Monday to Friday, 7 a.m. to 10 a.m.
With me, Pakwesi Omare.
Regina Bless.
Deborah Adoso.
And I am Esinal Fiagbedu. This is Ghana Talks Breakfast Show.
Are you ready to amplify your business or brand's reach and make a meaningful impact in Ghana and beyond? Partner with Ghana Talks Radio today to connect with a diverse audience across Ghana and beyond. Elevate your brand through on-air promotions and social media. Boost your brand during prime time. With Ghana Talks Radio, you can extend your reach across digital platforms. Ghana Talks Radio is not just a station, it is a community hub where your brand becomes part of the conversation. Join us in fostering connections, celebrating culture, and making a lasting impression. For customized sponsorship packages and enquiries, email contact@GhanaTalksRadio.com or call +233 202 544614. Ghana Talks Radio, giving the youth a voice.
Hello Ghana, hello worldwide, I'm level band. Now listen, every Tuesday and Friday, beyond the time it's going to carry Braille, our Ghana Talks Radio, 7 p.m. sharp. Now Tuesday, we're going to talk about our culture, our history. Matuni ding setete abako sem. Now on the Friday, you bars on bars. You better rap, you better say it. No artists go join me in the studio. We're going to discuss about music and business. Konya, oh you singer, and now oh you rapper, you think say you get bars, you go fit spit fire now. Listen, make you join me with studios. Our Ghana Talks Radio, and yes, say then our day. Me say download the Ghana Talks Radio app, no, our Play Store, any App Store. No tune in, and say this what I say, Baba Live on Facebook, Kointakra, any Ghana Talks Radio page, and this now. Listen, I bet you fire 1 year, Konya, Wadding, Jajan.
Ghana Talks Radio, I wo UK abrochimemu era from Ghana muha at the sound system which is spinning machine papa every amano nearby begu among Ghana muha. It is a we a year, we engagement, we wedding, we birthday party. Political parties are more rally, some way sorry more crusade. So we'll book carnival or any kind of event. Now we'll pay spinning machine papa a boss sound in the moon at the dia any may come for GTR sounds at the amount. Your live band in so our tones are at the frame ya beat me abababwa ama ujumedia woody and so at me I come up. Yawa enkan pupuni mantemo anya aponchi hotel a hope pepe ena yebutu odi anse wo be frɛ mpanifo ɛwɔ 0546960510 GTR sounds emu ode angaza.
Ghana Talks Radio, #1.
And it's another beautiful morning. Another beautiful brand new week. It's a Monday, 14th of April 2025. That's where we bring you another edition of the Ghana Talks Breakfast Show on your favorite radio station, Ghana Talks Radio. My name is Pakwesi Omare, and it's going to be a fun-filled, insightful, and educative session this morning. Wherever you are, we greet you. We salute you for tuning into the program this morning. We promise to bring you the best of breakfast you've ever had today. In the studios with me is going to be two guest panelists. I'm sorry to disappoint you that your beautiful listener won't be joining me today, but still, she is behind the doors producing me with such some much information to feed you on the show. But yes, I'll be having Mr. Bexon with me, my regular boss, and also Stephen will be joining us very soon. Stephen is an NDC communicator. For the Greater Accra region, so he will be joining me very soon in the studios. But before then, let me link up with Bexon in the studio. Beck.
Senior.
Good morning.
Good morning.
How has it been?
Like the Muslims, we say Alhamdulillah. Elohim has been good to us.
Great.
Once we're enjoying the gift of life.
Yeah.
We are alive and kicking. So we thank him. We are fine. We are doing well.
3 months in, and 4 months, cry. About for by. Nema Kosi.
Well, okay, our real crown can make us say, by now, my honeymoon number. You understand? Because Charlie honeymoon crying conscious. So 3 months into NDC, the good, the bad, the ugly. By and large, things are happening because I think Info Analytics did a survey to see the goodwill that Ghanaians have given His Excellency John Dramani Mahama. And within the space of 3 months, goodwill in Swatia maybe 61%.
Really?
And I think it's because of the happenings. Cocaine saga, flying of containers, just name them. And I think you see the Jawa.
Yeah.
So once you've been given the mandate to do things right and do what the Ghanaians expect of you, we can revive the goodwill.
Okay.
And still be able to live up to the expectation of Ghanaians. So I can only wish them well. And like I said, we wouldn't want His Excellency John Dramani Mahama to fail. He will not fail. Some of us, so person will fail, cry man can fail.
Yeah, move for crime, so I should say own fail.
Because you see, there's a popular saying that you have your say and then you have their way. And inti you can't say when tia, yeah, the bow chisa, you be man crofo who adapt jem, so that you do what is right. So basically, that is all that we can do. Nothing much. We only appeal to your conscience and insist that the right thing is done.
Insist that the right thing is done. Put by Mr. Osher Beckson. Do well to join the conversation on all our social media platforms at Ghana Talks Radio. At Ghana Talks Radio, you can join us on TikTok, on Facebook, on Instagram, and on X. You can also join on YouTube at Ghana Talks Radio. At Ghana Talks Radio, our WhatsApp channel is also active. 0202-544-614. 0202-544-614. Let us hear from you. Send your views, your comments, your suggestions, everything that you want us to hear, and we'll get interactive with you wherever you are. Yeah, Beck.
Senior,
you did mention of something that some containers flying here and there, some cocaine issues and here and there. I mean, these things, do you subject it to the new administration, or these are uncovering materials we are getting to know about from the erstwhile administration that just left power?
Thank you. Izzy, okay, until we set commission of inquiry to go into some of all these things, there are speculations, and it will be extremely difficult. Say you lay it at the doorstep of the previous administration or this current administration.
Okay.
But then when we set a commission and then the commission goes into it, they will unravel whatever has happened over time.
Okay.
Whether it is A or B that is corporate. So at the end of the day, yes, things have happened. Into saying what necessitated it, what gave room for where we are today. Are you getting it?
Yeah.
Because some of these things, when you hear them, it's more or less like cock and bull stories. Are you getting it?
Yeah.
Because Temahabo, look at how strict security operates in Temahabo.
Sure.
Then you come and tell us that containers are fly from Temahabo. Who does that? You understand?
Yeah.
So, like I'm saying, to bring finality to some of these things, and then to give the Ghanaian a clear conscience about happiness, you know.
Yeah.
So be commission and a committee, you know, so that they will come and give us what the realities are.
Okay.
Than to be giving us this cock and bull kind of stories. We don't want to hear them.
Okay.
Yeah, we don't hear, because let me tell you, now the ordinary Ghanaian is wide awake.
Yeah.
New money go over time. Politicians, they do it and then they go away, they go scot free. This time round, no. This time around, it's not going to happen.
It's not going to happen.
The whistleblowers will be there. You will put you on your toe. You will insist that this thing, we need clarity on this.
Okay.
And that is how you have to mind there. These are some of the things that are welcoming news.
Okay.
We shouldn't sweep them under the carpet. As and when they come, or as and when those things show up, we need to deal with it.
Okay.
And then bring them to light.
Okay.
Yes.
Have you been so far impressed with how things are going, especially in terms of addressing some of these corruptive activities we are uncovering now? Because people have the perception that we are always speaking of, and even as you just mentioned, a committee of inquiry to get into these things for us to establish the main frames of whatever speculations is going on. But Beck, you see, people believe that we have institutions already put in place in the country. We have the CIDs, we have the national securities, and all these people in place already to investigate these issues, come up with whatever it is about it. So why should we still be contemplating on getting committees to investigate some of these things and all that? Why?
You see, it's in order. But Sebi, I say Nam Dodo on Senkai. You understand? Ali, you have the Shraj, you have the Yoko.
Yeah.
Just name them. All these agencies are there to make sure that there's a corruption-free kind of.
Okay.
And I must also say that this government is doing well because they haven't shelled any perceived corruption kind of.
Okay.
They are bringing everything to light. And kudos to the minority too. They are gradually becoming a responsible minority.
Okay.
It is not because Sebi Upetumia Banti just be on the fence and then do things anyhow. You have to be responsible opposition.
Okay.
In the sense that things that you think are not right, things that you are privy to, just it can give room for corruption to strive. You know, you must bring it to fore. You must bring it to light, and that is what they are doing.
Okay.
But the institutions that have been mandated to go into issues of corruption and things of corruption related, when you give room for these institutions to open and to work fairly, they will help to bring openness and finality to some of this perceived corruption.
Okay.
Because you see, they be say aban bi to me our the world say obekata corruption. So the reason being that when it brings corruption to light, or when it makes corruption visible, ebegu na ban anymore.
Okay.
So it is better he conceal corruption. Obekata so because person ebegu na ban anymore. But in the same vein, aban no person or church say me ni bibi am DC no. As and when those things come up, he activates all the necessary protocols around.
Okay.
The BNI, the CID, the Yoko, he makes sure. That's why I'm happy President John Dramani Mahama, in this cocaine saga, that the minorities are legend. He instructed that quickly they should probe into it.
Okay.
Because you'll be uncle because hey, wait, they beg my by any so I just have to lie on the low.
Okay.
But my worry here is that even though His Excellency has given the clear mandate around it, say let's go into it. You see Felix Kwachi too speaking a different language.
Really?
Even to the extent of saying that Senkonum Pono president now and can entertain some of these things. I am a dentina when you're president. But you should be mindful. That gentleman should be mindful because it's here. That guy has grown over time in politics. Okay. So far as communication is concerned.
Wow.
Yes. So you shouldn't, your utterances and saying shouldn't contradict that of your boss.
Okay.
Because who say only 2 minutes wapon be amount so there's from Ghana.
Okay.
And so that is what I can say. I believe John Dramani Mahama have all that it takes. Look, he just want to leave a history before he goes back. And I know he is in the history making.
Okay.
Whether the good, the bad, the ugly.
Okay.
Until at the end of the 4 years, and even the history no jai no. It meant well, or there was a negativity in the history that he left behind.
Okay. Fair enough. The mention of the opposition being responsible in a way that they are trying to keep government on toes and all that stuff. People also believe that some of these things that they bring on board are just things to make the current administration unpopular, and so they need to be factual and truthful about trying to keep governments on his toes and all that. Because, for instance, we can take the example of Intim Fojol's allegations for the past month or so, or closer to a month now. He is yet to provide any substantive evidence to it. Meanwhile, this issue has gone as far as the international market, branding Ghana with a certain image that we are not really known for, which is not helping. And so, yes, in the quest of being responsible as an opposition, don't you think the sanitization of their allegations and all these things should come prior?
Because this is yes, this is a no. Yes, in the sense that, well, no money boa or to go from Sano and bag it. What you don't back it with evidence.
Yeah.
Nature say or mine on a ugu or mine anymore in the international market and as in the international world, making Ghana look as if Ghana is a hub for negativity. Are you getting it? But in the same vein, he is also discharging his parliamentary duty.
Okay.
An oversight responsibility that as a member of parliament, a man who can say he should operate in that vein.
Okay.
Be a whistleblower to anything negative, another security or he's a chair. He chairs that aspect within. He for me, he is only delivering on his core mandate. But however, no, like you said, no many be a you must come clear and come accurate on that. But I see, like the lawyers will tell you, who alleges must prove.
Yeah.
So if you are alleging, there should be a proof. Anything I make us say, even if you want Reverend Intim Fodio to help you with whatever it is, Sabe, find a nice way to engage him.
Okay.
Na nyono so wono fambra mbetuja.
Okay.
Now we start to say all the max men konifie as intimidation here and there. Masa, you can't force somebody to adduce evidence.
Okay.
You can't. Until me pa and I'm about can do maka, but near woman and evidence. So I'm feeling intimidated. Masa, maka go from me many. But then until I make us say the position or what is here, he's only discharging his responsibility as a chair.
Okay.
On that committee that he sits on.
Okay.
And as a whistleblower, it is only proper and good. Say anything Biana within his purview, he thinks it is not sitting well and it is not right, he must bring it to bear.
Okay.
So he's only doing his responsibility, he's only discharging his work. Okay. But however, in helping him to adduce evidence or whatever is at stake, use the right procedure to get him on board. None you want here on so they can send be and as all this no man to Jano. Or make it bear for all Ghanaians to be in the known.
Okay.
But yes, I will intimidate anyone here and there. People will begin to raise suspicions around.
Okay.
I don't think that's the way to go.
That's the way to go. There is a popular saying or belief, especially in terms of governance, that government is precedence.
Okay.
And the previous government, when this current administration was in opposition, the oversight was mainly championed by Honorable Okujeto Ablakwa.
Okay.
And we saw him discharge this responsibility with evidence-based and facts.
Okay.
As a precedent to follow, now in opposition, Intim Fojo discharging these responsibilities, he is doing this without the concrete evidence to back his claim. And secondly, the right channel to use, as they claimed, we saw them invite him. We've seen the NIB invite him and all that, and he failed to honor that invitation and all, and so they tried another means. So don't you think we will be quite inconsiderate or harsh to call it intimidation when they've softly or honorably invited him to give much clarity to his allegations and all?
PK Sabi Yademran Yadi Yedma Maimu.
Okay.
And Opese Oton sa every member of parliament are your processes you have to go through. Are you getting it?
Yeah.
And Brandon is explicit on that.
Yeah.
Until say Oton sa friend on whatever, just another due process and get him. Because he who alleges must prove. He's alleging that this and this is the evidence at my disposal until I made a case answerable. But also from Raquan so now on Fambra and Bear whatever evidence at his disposal.
Okay.
But like I said, who you should this kind of, so to put it, intimidation and so on and so forth, that you want him to be reluctant on his oversight responsibility, and
No, and that is what I was actually asking. We saw that before the process being termed as intimidation now, they honorably invited him. They spoke to his leader in minority and all that to get him on board too. Even the president himself charged him that he should help in investigations and all. And with all these, he has failed to honor all these invitations, which is what prompted or provoked this style termed as intimidation to get him to provide evidence. So in that case where the right channel, so to put it, has been used and it proved futile, don't you think, because they're saying that if something feels, force is applied, feels.
But you see, PK, it's true. But let's see, as a member of parliament or as a lawmaker, he knows better and he should know better. Sabi to me shembra, now you go contrary to Emra. Because nobody is above the law.
Okay.
They said there's equality before the law.
Okay.
Everybody is equal when dealing with people, so far the law is concerned. I know when they ambushed him in his house and so on and so forth. The minority were there, and then they gave them their word that they should go. They will personally bring him.
Okay.
Until I don't know, say, Osahene will do the needful. Afenyo Markins will do the needful and lead him to whatever quarters they need him to be there to come and adduce the grounds at which he's also making these wild allegations, so to put it. Until I think say unimembra on sembra.
Okay.
Until say to nsafre whether you route it through your minority leader or they activated the necessary protocol through the Speaker of Parliament or whatever, you must adhere to the call. Go tell them your side of the story and let's pick it up from there, because it has to do with Ghana. And when the name to say baby the world is all over watching how Ghana is handling this issue. Now you take the bold decision to come to a finality of this and make sure that Ghana are clean over this, a tag, and it will be with us. And the band say Ghana ni be a tukwanko baby. The kind of frustration you go through in our various airports, you have no idea.
Oh wow.
The kind of thorough search and the frustration you go. Sabi, I'm not here to paint any nationality black. By your nationality, be nyama ebo 419 pe. You know the nationality now we are talking about. We don't want Ghana to be on the radar for the negative. And anyhow it is, whether the MP is making wild allegation, whether he has a strong evidence to whatever it is, let's give room no biambo ninkro, so that Ghanaians will understand what really the matters are. Than thinking that we can just do any skirmishes here and there and then the matter will just go to sleep. It will never go to sleep. Because now the international players, they have interest. They want to know what really it is.
A whole lot of interest in it.
Are you getting it? Until we can't just sweep it under the carpet. Let us unravel whatever is there. Come to the conclusion that Ghana is clean.
It's clean.
And Charlie, where an apology is demanded, we give it to whoever the apology ought to be. They will make progress as a nation.
Okay. Did you listen to Speaker of Parliament last week when he admonished that the parliamentary immunity doesn't cover certain places or stances, and so with this kind of allegation, there is nothing like a parliamentary immunity for you, for you to clarify yourself. So it's demanded of Honorable Intim to go give some clarifications to these allegations and all.
And I think all these are part of the processes. You per se who say no krebi wa semna abanimu, and I say sebi opposition inti ye can be a from keke. So at least let's, like you are rightly saying, let's go through it the way it is. Now you no krewo. Is it because MPP will want power 2028? In the end starting go aban or team no fi, so that mom baba be attractive in 2028 and I say it's real, it's truth. Say because also so pay to minti oni nkrofo bi koye mukodi dwa bi osumu na afiansa ye de on sesa na ade brew. Are you getting it? So until say you be go through all these rudiments, now you are back in the conclusion, no, it is what it is.
It is what it is.
So let's go through it and clear every doubt around all these happenings.
Wow. I am liking your submissions on these issues here, because so many controversial opinions has been flying here and there, especially with this in Tim Fojo's case, and it has risen to a point of how misinformation and disinformation has branded our political scene for quite some time now, because people believe that throwing dust on your opponent is what is going to make him unattractive to the other person and make you rather attractive. But do you think that is the way to go as a political country? You know, branding ourselves unattractive to our audience. Is that the way to go?
PK, I think over time, when the politician is seeking for political power, he do everything possible to get political power.
Okay.
Both the good, the bad, the ugly. In the end, they say, one person will paint you extremely black. Not too many, but he'll do it. We've been in this country when people have deliberately dent the image of people, have come so wild and hard on people, without shred of evidence on things. And when they had the opportunity to sit before a parliamentary probe, or maybe went for parliamentary whatever position, and they were asked, they were emphatic that it was a political talk.
Wow. What do they mean by that? A political talk, like?
Anti-political talk. Let's say something into the air. It will sit on the minds of Ghanaians who come to believe that is the truth. Meanwhile, but Charlie, settings, be what you are saying. Okay. And it always has to do with image of people. Because when politics or when politicians begins to go this way, the game called politics will never become attractive to the ordinary person who have conscience to be part of.
Wow.
It will never be an attractive venture for people with conscience to be part of, because take it or leave it, politics, we are all helping in nation building, and no man is a custodian of knowledge. Papa kwesi drink kakra, mema drink kakra, like your crew obiane contribution bia na ode ba on board and na ye boade chichire man.
Okay.
Na ye mane be hu say politicians they bia gunua hu fi. Kanienim fagun hu fi. Na ema wo non stand clean against your competitor. That is not the way to go. Because ya o kafa onua no ho na o kine bi ye ko mo e ko nsa enya no kore no wagunanimu ase. Defamation of character.
So what do you think is the way to go?
The way to go is
in
that
addressing this particular
let us do politics of conscience. Let us not do politics of convenience.
Wow, that's deep.
Let's do politics of conscience.
That's deep.
Let us not do politics of convenience. Conscience in the sense that because I have conscience, I'll ask myself, this very thing that I'm doing to PK. PK no dey me and kebe me dana. That is the conscience. So if the conscience tells you that if PK could have done this to me, I'll not be happy, I'll not do this to PK. So do unto others what you want others to do unto you.
Wow.
That is the conscience.
Okay.
And the convenience is that because I envy PK so much in Tichale, Bibia say me kangum bia na me discredit PK, the good, the bad, the ugly. I have to do it to make or to render PK irrelevant in the space. So are you weighing the two sides of it? So let our conscience be our guide.
Okay.
So far as politics is concerned. Because especially, let me tell you, PK, most women are shunning away from politics because of the tag that we give.
Wow.
Oh, Oba, or the baby akwaji or the position, but genuinely, they also have a role to play in our body politics or in our governance.
Wow.
Because a popular Ghanaian philosopher says something that when you educate a man, you educate an individual. When you educate a woman, you educate the whole nation. So it means that in governance, in politics, when we give room, we give the enabling environment for women to be part takers of decision making. It will help us grow as a nation. But see, politics now quite a man game. A man a bebam kakran so we've been tagging them with all manner of negatives or negativity. It doesn't augur well.
Wow.
Let's have a clean playing field to make the game attractive for people to come in.
Wow.
And then help in nation building. Their thoughts, their ideas, their contributions will help shape the growth of the nation.
Okay.
But when we make politics become that a buga open nipana open say unya wenum gu ase they are politics, but that shouldn't be the case. It should be a healthy venture. That people will trade ideas and policies to help grow the nation. Other than that, you continue doing the very thing. You know, I visited one politician in his house, and now he has been in the news on something. So when I visited him, Nana, it will shock you that some of the things that they said about me, now me beside me say, hey. So are you getting it? I'm surprised. It seems the outside even know him more than he himself. Why should politics be like that? A game of contest of ideas.
Yeah.
Are you getting it?
Yeah.
So let's do away with this character assassination here and there. Now, Emma, and yet attractive, so that people can bring their opinions objectively. Because you woman, unya obiama elephant, unya obiama umbrella. But at the end of the day, when we give room for objectivity, for people to be as objective as they can without any political correlation, now you don't tag and then stereotype them for speaking truth to power or for speaking truth to opposition. That is the way we have to go as a nation.
Okay.
That is the way we have to go as a nation. Let people have the free will to speak their mind, say what is right, without tagging and giving them all manner of negative names. So that next time, no, the word allegation be anya no crop bowa, it nature ya kan wanu atum. Ohun ni anya kura untumi mba meka. How do we make progress as a nation?
So, do you think there calls for some laws against misinformation and disinformation? It's in the rights, because we learned from the NCA last week that they are preparing a bill to Parliament to pass a law that is going to address this misinformation and disinformation that we have in our communities and society. So,
even it is long overdue. It is long overdue, because you see, information dissemination ought to be accurate and truthful. Because at the end of the day, when you just throw in anything out there and people begin to run with it, and in the nutshell you go into it and then there's no iota of truth in it, you know the havoc you've caused. Look at the genocide, sorry. Somebody sat on radio, just a comment. It brought a whole nation to its knees.
Wow.
So you have a role to play. Make sure that when you sit behind the console, whatever you are putting out there is the truth. Because I'm speaking to a small group of people. When you sit behind your console and you speak, you've spoken to the world. So in that shell, whatever information you throw out there, if it is negative, you have sold this negativity to the whole world to accept the negativity that you've placed out there. So it is always prudent and better that when any information that you are putting out must be nothing but the truth. Should be nothing but the truth. It is not because, so these laws, yes, long overdue, it must come so that it will regulate some of the things that we put out there. The misinformations, and then it just don't speak well of us as a nation. I think this Emra has been long overdue, and it is a good move. It should be pushed. Then Obi bese when it comes, the president will assent to it. Ababa yembra.
Okay. Yeah. Fortunately for us, we have Stephen in the studios with us to get the conversation kicking in. Steve, good morning.
Good morning, my brother. How are you?
By God's grace.
Yeah, it feels good to be here. I think this is my first time.
Yeah.
I struggled getting here, but I'm happy finally. I hope I'm not too much behind time.
Well, you are, but we'll get you on
very
speed.
sorry. I'm very, very sorry. Sometimes, what happens is, for the media houses, we know that people may give you 7 a.m. before you realize they are starting at 7:30. That doesn't mean I did this deliberately, but I was wondering, like, and sometimes sometimes waking up is difficult because the time I slept and all that. So
I
morning.
can't blame you. I mean, your party is in power, so now you sleep well. I think so.
No, I'm not supposed to. Because coming here this morning, the kind of calls I'm making, I'm like, I want to book appointment with this person. Then normally I don't call these ministers. And why will I call you? If I call you, I'm only going to get disappointed. So I call their boys, and those I know, especially from opposition time. And mostly those guys are responsive. They'll tell you, if you want to book appointment, do this, do that. Someone is telling me his appointment unless June.
Yeah.
Finance minister says unless June.
Wow.
But
levels don't change. Levels don't change.
You see all these situations.
But yes, rightly put, we are also glad to have you in the studios and here. I mean, it's going to be an interesting conversation having you and Bexon in the studio this morning. Rolling right into the conversation. SIM re-registration. Not so long ago, we saw the SWAL administration take us through some SIM registration where in that case they said it is going to help identification of stakeholders or owners of various SIM cards easily because of some of this cyber crime and all that, to address all these things. Just about a week or two, we realized that your party coming into power is saying we are going to have a SIM re-registration. Why this call? What is the benefit of this and why is it coming in?
Good morning once again to our listeners and viewers. My regards to Honorable Sedem Apenyo. My constituency is Amasaman.
Okay.
Yes, my MP. I used to say my parliamentary candidate. I'm almost getting used to it. So Honorable Sedem, wherever you are, Chairman Niso Desmond Nai is my incoming MC. He's also my constituency chairman. Good morning to Amasaman. Everyone, Daniel Norte, my constituency communication officer, JJ Deputy. Then Mr. Martin Eisi is, I don't know whether you know him, Minerals Commission.
The Minerals Commission.
Yes, Minerals Commission boss.
Are you related
He's
to
a
him?
good man. I'm not related to him. I only got in touch with him some months ago. I think.
Okay.
I should even think it was after the election or so.
But solid man.
Yeah, I like it when people. There is one thing I don't like about human beings, that is arrogance.
Yeah.
Why do I say this? I have met people like Haruna Idrisu, maybe Okujeto. I'm sure others will have other stories about them.
Yeah.
But Haruna especially, so down to earth, having the time for everyone, any random person.
Wow.
You say it. When you do that, people don't even get envious of you.
Yeah.
When Haruna is done meeting his guests and he sits among the guests, maybe the boys, he has some boys around where he is. They are all chatting and he's on his phone. You'll be shocked.
Wow.
You get it? So, this is what I saw in Mr. Martin. You see that I was really happy with, because this is a man who can return your call,
really,
or can pick your call, who answer you. See you, Minerals Commission. Obi Beka said, then I'll pay you.
Yeah, I mean,
so that's why I like the man.
Wow.
And unfortunately, you see, people have forgotten that man is not a politician. If you check his profile, he went to Minerals Commission in 2002, I think as a legal officer or something. Then rose through the ranks. At a point, he even traveled outside to go and work in Kenya and came back. So MPP, I credit them for really spotting something good. That tells you it's not always only politicians that you find some of these capabilities in, but other people as well. And Mr. Martinez is an example of that. He's shown me his works so far, and I'm very impressed about it. I think he's setting up, or they even operationalize other offices across the country, and then more than 50, almost 50 workers that he's taking to programs abroad to learn about mining and all that, all from the coffers of that institution.
Wow.
So I commend him, and then through my party, everyone in my party too, I commend the person. My brother, SIM re-registration. I wasn't happy myself. I want to mince words. When I saw that news, was it last week or so?
Yeah, last week.
Because what I told myself was, when is this cycle going to end? Is it always going to be same? That when government changes, then let's go and register someone in another sector. Let's go and do this. Something that Ghanaians have done already. But maybe let's ask ourselves one or two questions. The minister tells us that his predecessor, I think that's the right word, Madame Eslousu. You know, Madame Eslousu some few years ago was telling all of us that acquisition of Airtel Tigo was at no cost. I'm sure you follow that issue. At no cost to the government. $1. It's only $1 that is spent or something. The minister is telling us, Honorable Sam George is telling us that they actually spent, there is a debt. I don't know how the transaction went, but contrary to what we were told, as if it was at no cost to us, there is a debt of, I think, running into 1 billion Ghana cedis or something. That's crazy, or even more. You get it? And that is one. Someone will say, that is what one side has said so far. So let's leave it there like that. Again, Mr. Franklin Kujo is a policy think tank person. I'm happy that his activities transcend various governments. So you know him say, hey, maybe I can bro
you can blend it.
Anything, okay.
But I mean, we are cut across the globe, so mostly the English.
The English is better. Okay, I hear. Franklin Kujo tells us, even just 2 days ago, he tweeted again that the minister really caused financial loss to the state. He's been saying this for some time. I've been following in a deal called Kelni JVG. Kelni JVG. What was it? Madame Eslousu and the MPP government at the time told us that they had to monitor calls of terrorists and other people. Many also didn't say terrorism be anywhere basi or Ghana, you know.
But I mean, we can't rule it out.
Good, but imagine signing a contract to the tune of $1.5 million every month, paying a company $1.5 million every month since middle of 2018 or so. That's serious. Every month, because at least we should even see their impact. When people have issues with their SIM cards and other things, especially MTN, look at the queues. You see, if we have really money to spend as a people, these are some of the things we should be thinking about. As at now, some people don't have their Ghana card and other things that even that are supposed to be mandatory per our status as citizens. So I am only giving you all this background to premise my argument on the fact that with the woman who was at the helm of that ministry or that sector for 8 years, I think there is a need to really take a second look at whatever it was, because what that means is there's always been this, you know, misconception, there's always been this confusion, there's always been this whole controversy around herself, her stewardship, and so on. Another one, earlier into the term of Nanado, Kennedy Japan came to tell us one day on Bedroom Adum TV that Professor Kenatefa, who was also at NIA for 8 years, interestingly, it was only under Nanado that people, you know, were at post for 8 years. It never happened under us, even under Kufuor, under Rollins, and so on. You know, because sometimes you bring people in, others to also see what they can do. In Ghana, when someone is a minister or CEO and the rest, they make money. Let's not pretend. You get it?
So we need to reshuffle them for others to come.
For them, me personally, for that reason. Why should one thing? Imagine Dominic Nitiwo, defense minister for 8 years. That is no joke. You get it? So me, the kind of agitations that started in their party, I was never surprised about it. I knew the whole thing was a taking or the time bomb. Like eventually, Namin said it will explode. Okay. And if they don't take care, they have to. This is the time. I don't blame them. I don't blame anyone in MPP. I blame the leader at the time, because it's the leader who will decide. Say me yes, say me yes. Say. Imagine under Mills, under Mahama, some people were ministers for just a year. Now a year. Some of them we never heard of them till today. You think it's the wish of the president to do that? Especially if there is a scandal about something, you let them go. So I brought in President Kenneth and Eslozu to remind you how Akum is another one. 8 good years at a particular place. Kennedy Japan alleged that in awarding the contract for the rollout of Ghana card, was it the company was called Margins or something? Kennedy Japan had brought businessmen from India who were prepared to do it at a cost of $50 million. Okay, Madam Eslousu and then Professor Atefa gave it to a company that was really doing it for us. Was it $1.2 billion or so? Can you imagine? And then he was all over shouting that they are disgracing the president and all that. But Madam Eslousu came to tell us that it's not her fault and that the order for that award came from the presidency. Again, I'm telling you this to let you know that there's always been these controversies around her. Either she's not herself, someone was pushing her to do what she did or something. So I have every reason to believe today that all the same registration that we went through, maybe it was just for the sake of it. Maybe nothing really concrete happened.
But has the minister, Honorable Sam George, stated clearly why we need this SIM registration?
Not really, but I've heard from the NIA new NIA boss, Yaya Koku.
Okay.
I've heard from him that he's an IT person. That still people perpetrate fraud and other things without being found out and all that. I know of people who have used their Ghana card to register for others. You know, I think that is not really supposed to be a good system, because if you are registering for others, if people don't have Ghana card, you people have made Ghana card the sole requirement or basis for which you will do the Ghana card. No problem. Register for the register for the SIM, okay? Ghana card. How have you even ensured that all have gotten that card? Have you ensured that all have that card? If they don't have, then there should be an alternative around it. So that could be one point that we are starting from. First of all, the fact that a lot of Ghanaians don't have Ghana card, and still you decided that you are using Ghana card to do it. Again, the fact that people can still use their identity cards to register for others. Let's think about that carefully and see the way forward. Then the fact that people are being scammed or defrauded on a daily basis, day in, day out. What is being done about it? You get it? So I believe that I haven't also heard from Sam George specifically about why we really. He only said proper re-registration. So, but I'm also concerned about normally the amount of money we spend.
Exactly.
Doing all these things. But with this new government, you've realized that people are so careful. The ministers, the CEOs. Yes. The next time I come here, I can take you through the scandals we had recorded by this time 8 years ago. You'll be shocked.
I will give you that platform.
Good. You get it. And this time, you hardly hear of a scandal because the people they know that if it happens, they'll be fired. If you are not careful, you will even be prosecuted as well. Because if a leader is really serious and wild about something, you should know. And that is what President Mahama is portraying now. So I have every reason to believe that Sam George and his ministry would really cut the cost. But I'm also concerned about all this queue and all that.
Well, he's actually saying that with this re-registration, you can do it in the comfort of your home. Okay,
so that means that would be that is a departure from the last situation, right? Yes, because I remember Eslousu's touring some centers. You remember?
Yeah.
Some congested centers and all that. That is only when Ghanaians will complain and people will be like, "I'm a maintenance baby, enjoy my home." You get it? But if I can do it from the comfort of my home, my mom cannot do it. I can assist her and other people. I think it's a good way. It's a good way to start from. So that wouldn't make it too stressful. But I'll be happy to hear more from the minister. The reason why, we have had to do this registration again. So that we will all be convinced about it. Yeah. So for now, I mean that's all I will say. And
say about it. Wow. Thank you for submission. Beck, SIM registration, and as Stephen said earlier, the NIA boss, the new boss, the NIA, Yaya Koku, has come out to say that all the biometric we did in 2022 none of it was captured. So it was just taken and kept on some file, which wasn't even used for the registration of so many things. It should be in sync with other things that it was never appropriately used. So all these things are some of the calls for the assembly registration that we are about to have now. What do you think of this?
I think Steve-O has nailed most of the points right on the head. But I see governance is a serious business.
Yeah.
And governance is a continuity. Continuity in the sense that we must always build on, because we all have a nation to build, so we are building on.
Okay.
So we can't just make 4 moves forward and then we will make a backwards of moves. For me, this aspect of it is a non-starter. Charlie, let's get serious. Let's get serious as a nation. It's a non-starter. We are building up from whatever previous government left there.
Okay.
Like Steve-O rightly said, look at the stress involved. Even at a point in time, His Excellency John Dramani Mahama, the chip was even blocked. His chip was blocked.
I never heard that.
Oh yes. So you see, let's look at the loopholes around and then deal with it.
Okay.
Than to go and start the entire process afresh.
Okay.
Are you getting it?
Yeah.
It has to do with money.
Yeah.
You can't tell me that some of these brilliant initiatives is going to strive on Father Christmas kind of.
Yeah.
There should be value for money.
Okay.
Until where we are not, and are you telling me that when we go through the re-registration, it will come to, as it were, solve the entire problem that this same kind of brings all the time? No. Surely that aspect, that loophole will continue to be. So let's find means in dealing with the loophole that this whole exercise come along with and deal with it.
Okay.
Than to go and start the entire processes afresh. Are you getting it?
Yeah.
There should be value for money.
Okay.
Because I deal with massa, somebody will be best some kind of baby. Until come with me, ya ba power, SFC re-registration for somebody for chop, contract for go somewhere. It's good. Governance is continuity.
Yeah.
Baby, I know you baby see because this NIA kind of Ghana card or SIM registration move, the Ghana card initiative started from the late Atamels. Are you getting it?
Yeah.
Or whether President Kufuor continually, because governance is continued or there's continuity. Abambi or Bababia deliberately and consciously tried to make sure that it was able to roll out to where we are today. How are we making progress as a nation? It's a good call, but for me to start the entire process now, it means
Okay.
there should be value for the money. The one that we think the loopholes or the things the skirmishes, so to put it, that is unraveling around it. Let's look at that aspect and deal with it, so that we can have a formalized and then a well stream system for this thing.
Okay.
Because when you are calling for it again, I'm still using my old Ghana card to come and do it.
Yeah.
The information I gave you, Benjamin, check my details, whatever you kept, and one assistant. You provide same and it doesn't change anything.
Okay.
So for me, let's have a second thought of it. Let's look at the loopholes that this thing presented and then deal with the loopholes and then close that loopholes.
Okay.
Then say yes, I'm all over to come and then undertake this exercise again. Tell there should be value for money.
There should be value.
Money in this case. To be able. So please, Honorable Sam George, please this one there, go back and come again.
Honorable Sam George, go back and come again. Steve.
Yeah.
That is what Bexon had to say on your minister.
Sure.
Yes, you're on Comrade Bill because it's a non-starter for us.
Well, so that is why I also called for a need to briefly and sure.
Yeah, sure, for whatever we are.
Because me, for one, I want an end to all these things.
Yeah.
Because for all you know, if you are not almost or mobile,
they also come and it's going to be a cycle upon cycle.
You know, then you're quite answer by.
Yeah.
The people don't really. We have a lot of issues. I was say looking at as a people,
Yeah.
and yeah, we at all. So yeah, how it's going to go.
Okay.
Me concern there still the number of people are. In rare, I'm saying papa be say only Ghana card main register main man. Well, I've not even been able to do it for him. So it was our situation here. Ghana card will be someone say nipa no. She says so munchiaka. But just oppose that with the fact so say on my sika millions of dollars and the DS are Ghana card. So now yes a man for the bit yaka back. And you be a Ghana full credit, and is the money going to the coffers of the state? Ubi be yes, it 300. Now say saying,
he said there also amount to test.
Yo,
my buying you buy.
Yo,
I bet there more better more yes, more ye be a man. I'm okay, can't say why you're wishing so. Hey,
yeah, it's a big crowd, is a main tea because just last week. Lady be contacting me here Ghana card. So we a politician movie said you can help them with everything. It's be so many more number be some movie. I don't know how it went. Because I'm in the panel that kind of connection.
Yeah.
It's in minima here or yeah this is here. But yeah no she said the air they said. Those are abano ubiaba so yeah the same nipa na beto no. Thankfully President Muhammad need election Kobe. A lot of you don't know that. I know people are saying constitutional change. No. Onye na adwen say because Okasa yes as you see as well. I'm sure say Ghana for also how we are as a people. But for all no send any mail con so yen obo na homo there. Go sa feel okokre be mo ya but option be any. Because why the first time na issue.
On for nyansa ninja obi wait.
Well, it depends. Well, you're concerned as to whether who's not in Revidan Paris they had a partner will be over dinner there. We leader be our dream say or Chinebu ni wa say na nyema beko because Ghana for bread with the Ghanaians don't need another bad leader after all you over the years over the decades no is your Ghana for him be who say GDA or ne maim na Ghana ni amfa poso say me ko ha ko hasel obi okwa brochi no won kra still or bread obenya nko betina ne maim but situation no.
Okay.
So so the same re-registration there. For now, they meaning how to welcome it.
Okay.
But
maybe
I would like to hear
next time we meet here, we are going to have
sure
on it.
I would like to hear more with time.
Okay. All right. Sure. The Boku conflict. I can him say a chamu. So what is really going on down there? And that's when I'll take your submission first, Beck. And Tokoi Kwane Koso. Just last week, yet say a majority leader. The question if he what is going on? Why is this conflict heightening? Why can't we just find a resolution to it once and for all? What is fueling this?
PK, it's a brilliant question asked. How I wish I hail from that side so that I can speak on authority. But for now, any submission that I'll make, I'll make it based on relevant literature at my disposal. The good book always says that it is good for brethren to dwell together in peace. So peace is relevant in all spheres of our human endeavors. Are you getting it? Peace must prevail. Peace must dwell among us.
Sure.
But some way, somehow, if things are not done right over time, that peace that we all want to enjoy will never see the light of day. Like you rightly said, this Boko kind of unrest, it passed over 25 years. And Bisao said, how beneficial has it been to the people in the north? How beneficial has it been to the people in the north? And all these things are happening because of the political connotations around it. I will not mess worse.
Wow. Do you think
both the NDC and the MPP is guilty for whatever is happening?
Do you think it has escalated from just some ethnic misunderstanding to a political?
You see, like I'm saying, whatever is happening when you root cause, if you baby na baby do, baby do. You know, a secondary school teacher of mine once told me, and let me greet him this morning, Lawyer Fifi Bokman, who is the member of parliament for Kwesi Mintim. Okay. He taught me in secondary school, NDC member of parliament. He said something to us when we were in school. He said, when you go to meet two people fighting, ask them that yesterday what happened. Something necessitated the fight. BBS dada. And at the rehearsals grounds and then no, will be a witness. Are you getting it? I don't want to go much into it. Like I told you, I'm not from that. I don't hail
from that end.
From that end, it's so relevant literature. You see, the people there, they don't have what it takes to buy that high-powered ammunitions to be fighting and killing themselves.
Wow.
It is the politicians who are fueling whatever is happening. And both the NDC and the NPP is guilty for what is happening there.
Okay.
And if a politician wants to solve a problem and bring solution to it, he stamps his authority in what I call the political will.
Okay.
If the political will is there, you bring finality to whatever is happening. But of course, you say it benefits the NDC. Of course, you say it benefits the NPP. For how long will this continue to happen the way it's happening? We should bow our heads in shame. For me, I don't want to go too deep into it. But me say the NDC and the NPP is guilty of what is happening. So the two parties should bow their heads in shame.
What do you
look? Leadership must show room. They must show way. That look, we have grown beyond some of these things. Are you telling me the NDC and the NPP the enemies? Today is my first time I'm meeting Steve.
Yeah.
But I'm happy being in the studio with him and the kind of brilliant submission he's making in there.
Yeah.
Or baby, no, Steve can call me, I can call him.
Yeah.
Are you getting it?
Sure.
The NDC, the NPP sit in studio, they make cogent arguments, they'll come out, so why can't we show that kind of brotherly love to those people out there? Let them know that, Charlie, how far we have come. Yes, why you be a trasho. Baby, let's peace prevail and let's make progress as a people. Now they be a properties are lost, lives, precious lives.
Yeah.
Look, every growing country is your manpower. And to say the youthful people now to help grow nations are dying on daily basis simply because of reasons best known to the two sides, the Mampusi and then the Kusasis here and there.
Yeah.
Are you all not Ghanaians? Are you all not Ghanaians? Yes, we are. We are all Ghanaian. One people with a common destiny. Into the root cause, and you see, according to say, let me chip in a little scenario here.
Okay.
We call a place like Nsawam. By virtue of me being the PRO for Ochema Youth Association, I know that Nsawam is part of the stool land for Ochehene.
Okay.
For Moto for Penny.
Okay.
So by virtue of that, Ochehene no Sihene ewo Nsawam.
Nsawam because
like Aduejiri, right?
Okay.
Are you getting it?
Yeah.
Ochehene asase. But here is the case. Ohene otesono Ochehene will go and swear to Ochehene. Then Krokitikete no. Yes, also Ohene also will go to Kotoku and go and swear to Kotoku Mahene. So also no Ohene. Who does that? Because be the Mampusi and the Kusasi, they know who is the rightful heir to the throne. And Ohene into Beko Kroba ko ewa himfumi. Are you getting it?
Yeah.
How possible? And some of these things is what even helped to bring that kind of the level of unrest. There was a time past, even in Accra here, anytime there is a new regime, you need a new government check. It happened right in the nation's capital. Are you getting it?
Yeah.
So some of these things have happened over time.
Yeah.
Let's just maybe also they are there to no fato. I say be fiato. Let's speak truth to power. Let's speak truth to people that look. Sebi, yena nanum na mbaba chichire, ntu ba bedom ya. It doesn't automatically make you say who a custodian of the place. I tout myself as an achem. But natural among we, the accounts, we inherit through our mother's line. We are matrilineal. So by extension, I am an Ashanti. Because my mom is from Ashanti Bekwai. It's my father who is from Chidi. I can't change the narrative. That is how the setting has been. Intinia AC or Hobiano, yen to me, we can't turn the hands of the clock based on what the status quo remain. Let us go by it. Okay. Now you enjoy Samuel, we didn't talk about over time. Let's bring finality. We need to make progress as a nation. Okay. Because ye kumkumia ho ye to a politician di to ba eba beboa. Look, no not to be 3 square meals de lukronyeska. But politician will get a gun and come and support this thing to happen there. But I'll be happy that a time will come on kasa di to no ba. Na mo dey try on na ho. For me, there should be the political will. Okay. His Excellency John Dramani Mahama, he's from that enclave, Esro. He has made good name and history for himself. I know this 4 years. Yeah. John Dramani Mahama wants to make a good history and go back home so that he can go and rest in peace. Whoever will take over the reins, or who said Nashuma John, he should just do me this favor. Yeah. Uncle Kreti camp, military camp, okay. On bomb sisa, on bomb at Nasi or near her says Sabi who will be because to be. Okay. Enough. Okay. Let's make progress as a nation.
Let's make progress as a nation. Steve.
Yeah.
Well, let's make progress as a nation. Last week, our president, your leader for your party, he made a statement at the passing out of the Ghana Armed Forces that they, if the intervention of Otumfuo can go through, it might calm and restore peace in the Boku enclave. So, what do you think? What has Otumfuo got to do with this? Because there's something from the northern side. So, why is Otumfuo being called in this whole issue?
Take your
Okay. Hope it's coming.
Yeah, sure.
Okay. I'm sure definitely it's not President Mohammed's wish to suggest that another tribe, takes charge of this situation. But we are only looking at any measure possible that can bring us out of this. Any measure that can take us out of all this controversy, all these issues and challenges and so on. Security threat.
Yeah.
Otumfuo, I remember in the Dagbon crisis, I don't know whether it was successful, but it seems we didn't hear anything again. Yeah. That could also be a positive in a way. The fact that, we've used their own people. Imagine one of their own becoming defense minister for 8 years. Yeah. Being in charge of military. Still, we couldn't get any solution. In fact, for 6 years and even some months under the previous government, one of their own, and not now, from Upper West, was the interior minister. So Northerners being interior, being defense minister. Still, so if we've used all these measures and we are still not finding, there's still no truth, I think any means possible that can help us get solution. Otumfuo, if only the willingness is there, for all maybe as these stakeholders in the whole crisis are not listening to anyone, maybe for him they'll listen to him. I don't know. So that is one. I think President Mahama just wants any solution at all to the problem. It's because we are finding it difficult to handle. Then as a state, let's ask ourselves, how safe are we? The fact that we have all this security architecture, police, military and all that, still, look at the number of police people. Just last night or last evening, I saw another policeman who was killed.
2 of them.
Can you imagine?
Shot dead in that area.
Some weeks ago to a soldier.
Yeah.
And normally, I think it's that one of these hit and run things. Or they'll target you when the car is moving. This is serious. people are calling for military base. I don't know what has prevented it all this while. Because we've used all this curfew and all that, and it's not working. And over the years, I'm sure this time we have a lot of security officers.
Yeah.
A lot of people have been recruited over the years, right?
Yeah.
Yes. So instead of some of these security agencies, you know, sometimes we all know, sometimes they are not too busy.
Yeah.
And all that.
They are just seated at the
yes.
camps and all that.
So let's deploy them. They make a good use of them. So, Minia PK, oh yeah, ABA soldier na police need to go to war for 1 month. No be free, no be able to replace him. So they will call anything.
Yeah.
We be corner we are. I'm sure there will be a solution.
Okay.
So mun cars all over more bedding.
Yeah.
Because the shoot you back cry, we will come after you,
sir.
But unfortunately, your military is there. Yeah, the moko baby, they only go and beat people and all that. But beating of people, sometimes you even wait help innocent people. Ebia no more obo mu kra nyo mu na. When Major Mahama was killed.
Yeah.
I'm say prosecution akoso. She say jail bi no. But me sure say ba ko bi no bi dey be sin na yen san come. So this kind of situation they be I believe say the way forward, like most people have called for, me support it.
Yeah.
Military base, you know, ain't enough, but we need more of them.
Okay.
Just like the situation at Kaswa. Kaswa is almost calm for some time. I don't know how long it's going to remain so. You know, almost so, because I didn't think that you chamoka as security people. So more than better. What's I say? I'm a minor.
Yeah.
And we should be ready for that. Sure. Any day, anytime.
Sure.
Anywhere. Me in fact, I've never taken the pain to ask myself, you know, or to look at the specifics.
Yeah.
But Mate of the Kusasis and Mamprusis. Mamprusis, I'm saying Dr. Baumiani tribe, no.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Do you know, sir, I've always been asking myself, what will happen when he becomes president one day? So what do I say?
Yeah.
Because there are people who may feel, say, and yes, it doesn't mean say be on a shade but there are people who might feel, say, Yenipa be president, one of our own, be president. They be take advantage. Yes. That possibility may be there one day. And it may be too because they be because I Ghana, the two major parties, you as flag bearer, Ulusukra normally no. I'm so Baba eventually Anna. So by in the situation, you know, because of what the Japan currently, I think the last primaries, you know, November 2023, Kennedy the number 88,000, 86,000. Now about me and I'm 122,000.
Wow.
See, I'm saying that difference now. Because 88 or say 86 and then or say 87,000 and now 122,000. That is just about 40,000.
Yeah.
I'm saying about me and here bad diamond.
Wow.
Going forward.
Wow.
You know, but say Dr. Baumia one day a president. Situation where I can. Yeah, got 3 weeks to the election.
Yeah.
One of your boys from Mama Saman. Omukone just like that.
Wow, why?
Meaning your choir, yes or no, so back crowds and then. A young couldn't go together with others and no more track and they were able to identify them. So Munya on tribe, you know, like
how is that possible?
Yes, so many more.
Okay.
Your target to nipa no say me no closer na bibia and e be obiama me information meaning time I be twem every crowd me who track na car na me say car we dey free cruise you know very sad. The boy was just 26 or 7. Now and also nothing came out of it. You call about I am told of polling stations minimum our President Mahama but Dr. Bamianya 0 at some places. What is answer?
Yeah.
Which means politically no now go if say be MPP for the B and a situation and maybe MPP Abino was partly to blame for the Ekoso. And the man yes by here now 1 or 2 incidents say now I'm really surprised. Hey, so what do these people really want? What is the situation? What is the issue?
Yeah.
Where sir? And now called Bono Afro region, the former Bono Afro region, and the Bono East, Bono na Afro. A lot of nordness assets to other places because of some of these reasons. Because if you're feeling so safe, the fear. That is what war. That is what anarchy. That is what chaos. That is what pandemonium does to a state. Oh, sorry, because the party no one who grows so on pill. I'm near any other in social, and after decades, we are finding no solution. What was it? So, Mama or two from Brem, but maybe a minister president, maybe an independent opinion or express. Don't forget, say, I'm the vice president, the head of police council and military council, armed forces council. And Tim Honorable Muntakamu, any honorable Manibo Mamu, and Shena. Honorable, okay, Kofi Boachi said, I don't know, Jubilee House, right?
Yeah.
As
operations.
May I say? And he said, I mean to me, and Casa really so or a part of the security per se. But in pay for interest in form 95. Matters IGP, no promise or more.
Yes, I was actually coming into that. What do you make of that statement? Say, if they can lower their tempers, he will make sure the granting of recruitment. I mean, they have some special protocols from that end.
Well, interesting for me. But don't forget, say, award the Nipa Njai award. Nipa Koso award. And the emphasis say 18 to 35-year-olds are free boko. I mean that enclave.
Yeah.
And now 18 to 35-year-olds are kusasis, mamprosis, you know. Because I say there are a lot of guys who are 16, 17, 15 are almost belonging to these tribes. Many who can say for all you know by this time almost the kind of when they did your mumua, yes, so you recruit one of your own into the security services. I wonder whether and also enquire. There is this African country I was reading about. War BCA was it Uganda? I think Uganda. How among themselves as security people, soldiers and massacre other soldiers who didn't belong to their tribes.
Wow.
In some barracks. You'll be shocked.
Wow.
But we know Ghana there, you do that extent here.
Yeah.
What does it? We a soldier, me a soldier.
Yeah.
But me a be cool because of who we from a tribe. And so maybe someone who say one day would that not be the situation or the problem? Say be a police for soldier for your faculties, your farm process. Among themselves in the day, be an professionalism, the human be force you, you know, to do the right thing or to do the professional thing, professional work. But outside that or apart from that, no, omwanga so mu no mbek lekiana. Sa chemistry no will it be there? You know?
Yeah.
Eti but someone try na
okay.
Because ideal hands so ya na enye. Unse abrabo de obi oha onye juma especially aban juma ne ade a nipa ne ni beba fa kakra. It's because who say say or we are say ede or jineni enti onko ya ade be de. And rap me who after the policeman when almost say people should send one of their own enko more other tribes. You know, enko.
Yeah.
But me sure say once I also be rare some security services be and there is really no such preference. For Abia we are Santini we say and as I say. Eti IGP de no like me can earlier me feel say be a boy to get a solution to the impasse. I don't know what say
okay.
Na asumdwe ebema asumdwe aba because the economy yegina yenye safe.
Sure.
O chire bi na nkofobia mfom ho angojim. Amma ebi ambe kan. So wo ade no.
Yeah.
Eden a yeti o mu free Ghana mu a menye sure se be boku be Ivory Coast em se Burkina Faso right?
Yeah.
Amune na vrongo no fada. Ti the mechanic say because na you see sometimes I remember this northern woman about 2 years ago. Now the way I know Kasa like just what say she finds nothing wrong
really
with the air question. Yes, hey, we mu no my say yes, you be your movie. That this is a woman. Now who cry there 2 there. Who be fasika now we father. You can imagine. And So mommy who said, the problem is deeper than we think.
Yeah.
Because this is not even Obi on wait me participating in Topano. Oh, fuel emergency security.
Yeah.
Or support it.
And this kind of person, if she has about 10 kids, 5 kids, what do you think she's going to tell them?
Well,
she's going to empower them to, you know.
Well, every time, basically never say with him, say, really? You know, see, Edding, you know, above water regional, hardly, because, you know, normally, you may be over. I didn't see because obiti ho na nipa no so wo maame wo ba wo yere wo papa wo busia no say even po boni bi esim mfie bi atwam kwa e wo say hu say nne no say ukoye odi ko kan nua they will also retaliate.
Sure,
they will retaliate. Sure. So it won't help us at all. Sure. Let's find a way around it. Special recruitment for those who come from that part of the country. Let's work it out and let's see. Honorable Ayariga, I'm even normally scared for him because he has been MP there since 2005, 4-5. I'm at a point to lose here, no, some back. You know, then they are questioning if I don't know whether it's an active, maybe a active house or use giddy. Yeah, but to you'll be in the you get it. Yeah. So, I mean, that is it.
That's it. Okay. Well, we just hope that, as you rightfully said, peace can be restored in that area, because as I near Maya na enyini na take over. Ebi a shas wo. Say na okay in the military camp. Be a Bokini Kusasi ni ba ko na for Mampusi ni ba ko omonto omoase na take over. Ebi a market Kusasi ni way na take over. Then you see how this kind of civil wars begin and all that. So we really need the government to have the will to take a stance on these things, and the call for military base in these places, they might also help. I mean, Iraq near the most United Nations and all that.
And the US government, and the special military forces,
of course, sea base also. If we can actually have that here, because Ghana doesn't have the tools.
The way they even have confidence to retaliate,
I mean,
and shoot back near the enemy. And people are wondering how they got the arms. They send the relative to us any day for many years. I remember my childhood. Nami papa me say a two mami family san kada because of papa police.
Okay.
There is no papa police.
No.
Mami family san kada and all those kind of things. So what does it?
Yeah.
To lo and behold, my family san Ankada. But and yet I don't think say how people think say there are people fine. It could also be for sure say especially supported with money. Munyese. You know, these are brothers. NTS Ghana all over. Among for Giatu say a hunter na waha. Say be a common day. Any other challenges are. And due to bad leadership. I hope we are aware of that. Bad leadership by far. Unya dadia ko Wikipedia na hwe Mali, hwe Cote d'Ivoire, hwe Senegal, hwe countries are watching omunkanyina na hwe se omotu Ghana in our economy. No, apart from North Africans no. Because of oil no top 10 yewu. Maybe oil Nigeria, population almost oil no do so. And South Africa. Ghana yakwe nimpa. And there is this Austrian political scientist be assessing African countries. I'll single out Ghana for the way a democracy is mature. Obianim say Ghana but there is nowhere, you know, basa ebesi. There is no way and that is why under MPP 1 or 2 incidents they see the Chiman and I also West Wagona. Some of us basically them into share those videos. Me so share that because I can't imagine a human being looking at a fellow person subjecting the person simply because of a normal democratic exercise. You get it? And this Austrian political scientist singled out Ghana, said, in a way, no, Ghana, Ubinya Bibika Kroti, me set it up business, then also you have support for the free market system, for democracy, constitutionalism, Kebi Mamin Kebi, Abain Bekwa, Abain Beba, and then we know. Say there are year to 2028 Ghana is getting another president, another vice president. So I just say eti a bad say na in a way no so more chair assign kakra because Obi be so ube car be kayen.
Yeah.
Police guy here obi.
Yeah.
It could have been any of us.
Any of us.
So what I say?
Yeah.
If you crowd free ho.
So now,
You know,
okay.
you come just like that.
I think somewhere last month there were people who were just traveling through that road. Or more a hopeful. Yeah, they set their bus on fire. Yeah, they didn't get one person alive at all. And they weren't people who, I mean, originate from that area at all. So if we don't look to really address this issue, it's going to get out of hands.
Wow.
Yeah, it's going to get out of hands. Because
I remember
right
this
now,
lady friend. I will let you continue.
Yeah.
I remember this lady friend a few weeks ago. She's from Upper East. Telling me to accompany her to a funeral or something. Getting someone. She's in the Bono region. Normal or something. And she was even telling me her male friends no be a person in the corner. I was hey, imagine. Who's a magic grandmother? So imagine say that route, you know, so route, no so na be grandpa. It's dangerous.
Very, very dangerous.
I be am coming to me, Hanoma. Boni be am coming.
Yeah.
You get it?
Yeah.
And they now can.
Yeah. I mean, I have a friend that they are into one of these big NGOs who support communities and all that. They had a project called Mobile started in April up to I think August or September. Big project. I think say medical centers for some of these people in that particular areas. They faulted.
Wow.
In fact, deploy be also uncle. Yeah.
That's all.
I have a friend immigration officer.
Okay.
No double cool. I am not chin ken or friend me so pamicho. Mempekia. Information was circle because all two abino paunedi on now be.
What's our
I said in Crawford no motifi. They went to work and they didn't return.
Oh.
Or how no back chance and Crawford no more than that one to
also immigration people.
Yeah.
Hey.
Immigration people. So I mean we are looking at these things.
So you realize the situation is even deeper than
very deep.
We are seeing
very,
or hearing
deep,
like
very,
things are happening.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, very, very deep. So
and I understand your friend. How would you even sleep?
I was hungry. I was also crying or bar.
Yeah.
Oh,
for a human need what to those size. You know,
I mean, we parents cry every day. They wake up thinking, "Hey, maybe it's us." And I will like these things. So we are really pleading with government to take a step.
High because a band is here. We tell me what plans.
Yeah.
So what I say, as young people,
sure.
A bedroom baby, I was saying me settle down. But as a firstborn, me papa by me age, not or the man bad. What I say, me family firstborn by. Oh, yeah. All these things now say a dream. Me worry, me wo ba mercy. Oh, now I feel because security issues a thing diago.
Not at all.
Obi ni much na. What am I say? It's unfortunately, more airborne, so they will not hear what we are saying. But their brothers here, and now their brothers are also better.
Yeah. But I think much of the play should go for the government. Yes, they have the tools to curtail these menaces out there, so they should take a stance.
You know, I don't know. I said the solution we are using, maybe we are not really being more
strategic.
Yes, I don't know because.
Almost to me confirm kakra. This time I was saying I surrender you because I mean bar scratcher or no machine and so you can tell how heightening it's getting.
I'm thought of other people who have even been bent or something.
Just look at this. So we are pleading with government. So I'm finding a nice from what's going out there. And schools are closing down, hospitals are closing. No,
how can you even go about life? Normal life. Bedding, you know, a bedding pa.
Yes, wrong.
Bedding.
Because we've been able to have a vice president from that enclave. We've had John Mahama, who also have. So they should look at it.
I said even when Nanado named Defense Minister Nitiwul, Interior Minister at the time, Ambrose Derry, I'm very happy. say, oh, okay, one of your own,
Yeah.
interior, defense. So you heard how they will handle the issue.
Sure.
In terms of for some time, for almost 30 earlier years, not any true isa. It's and as I jeans and especially a baton.
Okay.
Which made some people think same is a political
influences can so
when you put it how a MP no one my arrogant I'm so my free this side no papa so free this side.
Wow.
So yes. So that could have even been a way and come with best of it.
Sure.
So sure, but
sure.
They don't care.
Yeah, well, let's look at how it pans out.
Yeah.
Moving on. This case I yet to who did agree I say on my Ghana in for allegations about cocaine Sagabi or Kotoka International Airport. And there was the call for his arrest, and then people in his party were like, he has parliamentary immunity, looking at his rank in parliament and all that. Say, you know, no arrest in the is uncalled for. We need special procedures to get him to answer whatever questions we have for him and all that. Last week, Anna Babin Bekasai say, yes, there is parliamentary immunity, but then it doesn't cover all sorts of irregularities. There are some statements as if it wasn't even made in parliament, your immunity doesn't cover you. And this conference was made not in parliament. Press conference will hold the year to make this allegation of cocaine this time. And you know, that immunity doesn't cover him. And with that saying, no, we are now learning that the minority is pleading for government to temper justice with mercy for Intim Fojo. What does this make of the allegation? Because we are news in Akoduno. Are we going to just look at mercy, or we are going to get the actual fact of it, address it as the Constitution bets us to?
Yeah, Muse, normally I like practical examples. 2 days ago, in the night, today is Monday, I think this was Saturday evening, there is this guy who spoke bitterly. NDC guy, to me, the fact that the way things are going for him there, he is likely to conclude politicians are the same. Especially people making these kind of wild allegations and you are not really seeing anything happening and all that. I think I agree with him. For instance, when national security officials or operatives went to the house and the minority leader and his people had to come in, we are going to produce him and all that, then the security officials also listen to that. So if it were me or you, would they have listened to you? Say, oh, go. Your dad says, I'll come and produce him. Would they do that? You see?
And even the next day, we didn't see them presenting as they said.
Wow. You see? And then last night, before I slept, I was watching the minority leaders one-on-one interview with UTV. I think that also happened a few days ago. And how he was talking. As a discerning person, if you're a discerning mind, you don't need anyone to tell you that the people have no single iota of evidence to produce as regards the wild claims that they made.
Wow.
Like, he was not even happy they were asking him whether they had evidence or anything. And he was talking like, oh, it's the person's own allegation. And like, I was shocked. You get it? Listen, we are building a responsible state. People have made references to Honorable Kujeto Ablakwa having exposed President Akufo-Addo MPP government about going to charter the most expensive flight in the world, about National Cathedral and all those things. But if we are going to be honest, if we are going to be very frank, Honorable Ablakwa, unless you don't follow him, always comes with all this kind of evidence and other proofs to show. And no wonder, mostly the government was not able to hit back. The government couldn't take him on, and I know he was prepared for any such thing, any such eventuality. If President Mahama, any minister, any appointee, any CEO, any such person has really committed any offense, yes, nail them. Yeah, mini problem. I don't have any issues with that at all. Hang them. Out, but not when Not when no such thing has happened. Namako behind the scenes. Because Muya they say, we have foreign embassies here, high commissions here who are also monitoring.
Yeah.
In the one I now say your friend will say we are only giving you an opportunity. Bring it out. Maybe to me baby and this for it baby.
Yeah.
And I will also say no problem. More family out so I just No, we will not encourage that.
But do you think your government is being weak in how they are handling some?
They are absolutely. They are being weak because the people are not happy at all. The people are not happy. What must say?
Yeah.
You pay the political dealings, bill. Obi aye bonina say. Ochina bi mama ni pani who say oba out. Or in the fact here so they are out.
All right.
What must say?
Yeah.
Because that is a serious allegation. President Obama Baha 2009 July in addressing our parliament, he was specific. He was very happy. The fact say Ghana. Or say that was Professor Mills' era. The fact that we don't encourage the drug trade and other. We know there are challenges.
Sure.
We hear all these Pablo Escobar flavor.
South Americans.
South Americans, you know. We hear sometimes when we use a lot of West African countries. My some small research about that. I'm going to find say the seed in Sunayade. Okay, no problem. But let's tighten our borders and all that. These are the things we should look at. And on the transcend MPP and DCO, whether it's MPP in power, NDC in power, I know say loopholes work. I remember President Kufuor's time. There is this guy who was Ojini Din, your friend Tagore. He said across all him. Alaji Abbas, money ade. Near the Omoko court, you know, first time you move binum, you have any such. But what after some years, I'm saying now all this cocaine is a seven. Now I'm saying now about film background. I remember again Professor Mills' time. Now I say, was it Kufuor Professor Mills? Maybe I'll be kind. Now I say cocaine adani.
Yes, yeah, done Kokunte.
I'm going for now. Yo, ABC yes, I done baking soda. But I know crap, but normally I'll be blaming security agencies, police for some no way arrest. Me say some police ni na me CID. Na me name boys about. Me na me abechim. Say gold na wo mo. Say we e da wo mo. Say any fake currencies ni say any dey beko.
Yeah.
And don't be surprised. By the time police ni no be free car we could do office. Maybe ana nyama no. That's what it is. It is obi aka se ma che wa aka che unu e too right. Ono so aka che me. By the time I say me bedroom me so no.
Na assessor.
Yeah. That way candidate. You know, so that is the challenge. I say I'm saying me feel that the main challenge, you know, the security people. I don't know so many saying I'm here in charge. I know how to go about it.
Okay.
Especially interior minister. You know. There is a way. I will say hard on these people.
So is it more of that we are lacking the will, because individually none of us can initiate any of these operations. It will take the political class, the ministers of defense and all that, the president himself and all. Do you think they are lacking the will to actually?
I don't think they are lacking the will, but they are just being too lenient. Remember, Galamsey issues became they became Ananado, and some of us had problems with that only because it was quite alarming. The fact say the very people supposed to protect your interests, the very people supposed to protect your interest and my interest, at a point, appear to be the very people behind it. That is unpardonable. You get it? Upon all the state has done for you. Look at Honorable Ablakwa. Look at Honorable Harry Nedrisu. At least, Honorable Bredu baby. At least they have Sika Kakra. Na nekrampo na nekranya mebe ma dom kram ebia wasen crages come on. Na eche de be kwa kwhwe na ebia boni bi koso a ebia mo sampefo na mo wo eche. No. Okay. That one is wrong.
Okay.
And a bampona say as a leader, or president na vice and mo MP for no cry about more attention. Then I'm here. And so that is the problem we had with Galamsey.
Okay.
Not the fact otumfo aka ho asema kan. Ebia labor by day ni bia koji 200 cedis a day and as bibi. On security agencies no any call bro so. Ebia for all you know ye wo tycoons bi o baby on importing machines no any baniade. What do we do about that? And what now a root cause of the problem?
Okay.
Ultimately, now even as a government, the previous government, now former minister, environment, Professor Boatina Bekachre, ma compile reports, Edeman Nanado. How Galamsey is saying that they are called by Nanado Anyashi, na minister and ebe expose. It tells us a problem. Investigative journalists and us, our Jinidi will be about out. Some people linked with previous government. Now, I don't want man paying so a bear mamunye. Now be more bribe 50,000. Monko galamsey. OBJ bribe, me boama galamsey near. So it tells you say as of mine elsewhere. Whereas they love themselves, whereas they love their country, we love ourselves. And sometimes that is attributable to poverty and all that. Except say sometimes people are greedy.
Yeah.
You get it? Just like all these police officers. Are they not being paid?
Sure.
What am I saying? Yeah. By the end of the day, you know how they do.
Okay.
So if you ask, say, if you ask whether we are being weak or whether we are not being weak, I think I should agree with you. Say, I will say a kika ye kakra.
Sure.
Na the echo. As regards Honorable in Team for Jordan, I think say they got it wrong. I've listened to Honorable Ofosukwache any other. I believe say still you endorse a opid. Said where there is just opportunity. Your man of quine say ombe in one. Say obi a de mekan no. Mesumi issues are make it any say. Na baby a modi be call move anko. Okay. Very important.
Okay.
But when to me interest idea, and to say mesumi to me atena ha ka say bia keke. Afo bia ho.
Yeah.
Me say me hu yo na ma family hu dis ah. E kan me school bi mu a me call kire ade. Private school some few years ago, 2-3 years ago. Now private school by the time I got to the next me headmaster who is a guy like me. I say, hey, me pen ma papa. Or can't find me home. I said, boy, we open man. I say, I quite to be said with Biado. Like, school is me by me po BI.
Yeah.
Me job by be a crown number.
Yeah.
What's I say? And that could be the case of appearance is deceptive. Me I sure so whom me are they are all doing a family. No. You get it? And so that is how I may describe Honorable Team for your allegation. He said, episode be my information. Oh, you who's a plane be able to see her say.
Oh, okay.
You know.
So you think probably he just got his facts right?
Yeah, wrong. Because me say omo evidence be comedy about. No one that say on social media or you truly all over.
Okay.
Me say abide there. Nanado buy no say yenye citizens but not spectators. Obi person can adwe onka.
Yeah.
Be ko wi akire A+ e can adwe. Omo twene ko see the other places ekoya there A+ cra. Omo mpo dey say omo ngita allegations. Or the allegation or the sorry omo ngita evidence or the buy but nanado ye hu dey. What am I say?
Yeah.
Any other people I am a swale mu e de omo nkwatwa so.
Okay.
And so on and so forth.
Okay.
You know?
Yeah.
Eti tisia the American say omo bibia nkomo dey abadada. Yes, you be see so anka. Yes, Oma.
Okay.
That's it for now.
Okay.
At the time now.
Your time now soon atwem, but
really?
my share production so my mind in the next 7 minutes.
Okay.
By 10:10 dear, na you free her. Yeah, so we are heading straight into the last conversation of the day. ECOWAS dan yenka as a country. Almost say about 27 tons of grains, maize and others. If it is 2018, Ebro 27,000 tons. Now, I mean, amount for a bisase, and I say planting for food and jobs, ne say. Then you to me what dear was our name after Sika, ye dear share all these projects. I was say, I mean, ye to me nyadi tuya ye broker.
Good question, my brother. Planting for food and jobs, it appeared said now it was only in name. Because World Bank MIT here how are now about 800,000 Ghanaians. You push them into poverty. At a point 2022 to 2023, now 8.5 million Ghanaians and I know mother come for that particular year. I think it's 22 or 23.
Okay.
And now Adriane Bakokra and Kobano. That is about 25%.
Wow.
At the time of your population, say if not 30%. You know, so that tells you again other desperate measures by with former minister, and also he was minister for 6 years at Food and Agriculture.
Yeah.
Akoto we say free.
Yeah.
Nanado Adam for no. Na or say describing Nanado as a childhood friend. That also compare president today. Not only the tour. You know, now you're spending sometimes 800 million Ghana cedis a month, a year, sorry. Sometimes 900 million Ghana cedis. na ne nyina chi okay desperate measures or buy market women minister na abegire mu but then you say we dey nya hwemire say because that is not the proper system. Are you telling me say that minister ni no am from Bedivia go fie what must say a come any ade beji oman e boss it's not as if and there ti apem so but I'm saying say the way MPP for e come and here say oh ye buy ye be rolling out a special scheme bia meduane busu amagana for no the results e buy e chire no na eni sa kasa no ebo ebra so enano ye bisa ye ho say planting for food and jobs sika ekomu nyina. I am very happy with that topic amode buy because all this money na nyeska kitwa enyeska kitwa Ghana also again President Obama buy no o ka kire o say o pese o hu say we are not just food sufficient but we are exporting to other countries as well. Me say there are challenges and the Ghana washa omo farming na ta sikafo.
Yeah.
What I say? I know say you know of celebrities be sure. Any other nyame na mebodi. Omo farming large scale.
Yeah.
Edisika. Me no ye ntimi nyesa o.
No.
Ye betimi. Again me no so say am I asoso ne sika so ye. You know so challenges for her but arable lands it abounds. There are lands all over. I have been to Techiman, Wenchi, my own water region easy. You know we share the plantations and the vegetation near there. Eti Sisiano mehu the initiative I so here they feed Ghana. I know say there are challenges but it's a good way to start from. 20 years ago at the Fiekuma Takrade police barracks now almost all houses a small garden. You know me back on again also about 20 years now and I na mention them because I know all people care about this my current dying. You know there is even no space
to have a garden
over there you know you board you know and then no say minister and person be say I am planting here. You're inculcating our spirit in Ghanaians. Let's see Ghanaians really, you know, living up to the bill. Say, I also want to contribute my own. Today, as I speak, where I live, I don't think, say, I have that space. You know, but where my parents live, I'm a Saman. I think they do it.
Wow.
Yeah, they do it. They do. My mom, my dad, they do something small. You know, I still cry land near South Accra over me. So Ghanaians yemfa ye ho engine because it mean yes you to be dua e kontom real. But Accra no, why do you think says heat na be so much in the system? Say yes me no TAC books here. My step out all these things are part because the kind of nyema we say dua na boa environment no the system no ni yenye. Ye bubu dan obinya asase na waton na manfo bubu na mo be see high rise. I'm sure say you see it all over. Accra now no enye easy adan ni ade. You quite even elsewhere other parts of the country you be shocked. Enti time bomb going into the future no yan hwe ni here e be higher. Me feel say MPP aban. Planting for food and jobs and all those things you know. Na nothing but just propaganda sloganeering. Now real actions biara enter it. And you are talking about the former Greek minister now I International Coffee Organization, World Food, Asan Crow kita PhD in some of these things. What must say? Na ubi besie na the right and ben and bese bibu. We able kukumponi nebe like umponi you know. So and then Yema President Mahama Honorable Ekopoku, a Greek minister, the deputy John Dumelo, Yemo benefit of the doubt, say, there are 4-year mandates. President Mahama can put the 1 year and no bear reshuffle. But this time, a message or more and you because I don't know sometimes. But the more Mreka crack, President Mills no reshuffle every year. You are January, I know.
But do you believe that we have the capacity? I think in the next 2 minutes we need to leave here. For my producer, that we have the capacity to address this 27,000 tons of maize that we owe ECOWAS?
Is it because we don't have the capacity? I don't know why the previous government should lead us into this ditch. You remember, sir, armed forces, we are told, say, some food suppliers issues. You know, when you do this, you are creating problems for, you know, the future governments. But let's buy elsewhere. Togo, Burkina Faso. I know President Mahama will try and find a way around it. It could also be to say, but we were just refusing to send it. But it's very serious. We are just about 4 months into the administration, and so whatever it is, even if we have started putting measures in place, it's still early days. You know, come again.
It will take time to.
Sure, it will take time. You are not likely to see results at this stage, except for some few months after, and so on. So let's see a way around it. If we are going to import from elsewhere, if we have them, but we've also stored them elsewhere in some, you know, warehouses and all that too. Because these are food security issues, which are very important. You know, let's find a way around it. So that's what I was saying.
That's what we say. Well, I thank you for. Making time with us this morning.
It's a pleasure. It's a pleasure.
Before we had Bexon with us, but he had to run out because of an emergency. So yes, Stephen also stepped in and made a conversation very enlightening and delightful for us. But Steve, before you leave, what are your...
Yeah, so my final comment, I'm happy to have come. How long have you guys been in operation?
We've been in operation for years now, let me see.
Wow.
But this particular show...
You used not to do politics?
Yeah.
Okay.
We just kicked it off like 2 months ago.
Oh, nice. I'm happy to have been brought on board. I don't know, my regional team, they've not started deploying people here.
Yeah, they haven't.
No, so get in touch and let me give you his number.
Okay.
So that from now, every week or every day, he'll be deploying people.
Wow.
I don't know about the MPP people. Okay. So that we can also help ourselves in that regard.
Yeah.
Whatever we are doing, my brother,
it's
just purely sacrificial.
Yeah.
I mean, even after power now, I haven't really seen. You see me in this shirt. It's my younger brother who is a staff of how do you call it? WAEC. You get it? Yeah. But doesn't mean, sir, we are going to lose hope or something. We are still doing our little best or what we can to support the system.
Okay.
And so GhanaTalks Radio, listeners and viewers should continually listen and then follow us and then support whatever programs that we bring on board. Hopefully, let's pray. I hope to be here very soon again. And then to help bring some of my colleagues on board. So I believe that President Mahama is on track. The number of ministers having been reduced, some of the remunerations reduced, some of all these kind of V8 other things, you know, I believe said to help the system in the long run. You know, budget allocations. When we're doing the independence celebration last year, 15 million Ghana cedis. This year, 1.5 million. It's a good way to start from. You know, so with time, the young people, even the old people, should have hope that in this second term of President Mahama, it's not business as usual. And the signs, I'm sure, have started showing. So that is it. Honorable Sedem, Chairman Niso Adesmond Nai, who is Amasaman NDC Chairman and incoming MC for Ghana West. Hopefully, Patricia Adi is a Deputy Secretary, Greater Accra NDC, and all my executives. You know, Jerry Johnson is my regional communication officer. His deputy is Simon Tete. Greetings to everyone. So I mean that's it. I've mentioned Mr. Martin Eisi already.
Sure. Wow. Well, we are very glad to have your company, and I think we are going to build on that. As you said earlier, we are going to have you on the show most often, going to connect us with your people as well, so that we will have most of you there. But before we leave, we have some comments to read here. Surgical Lord says that good morning to the best breakfast show team online. Surgical Lord, wherever you are, we greet you too. We thank you for making time to listen to us. And Surgical Lord says he likes our delivery this morning, so kudos to you and Bexon earlier on, who has given much insight and education on some of these topics that we we treated this morning. So yeah, Surgical Lord, we greet you. We say you have a beautiful week ahead, and also do tune in tomorrow same time with us on the show. This is where we'll be leaving you. Thank you once again, wherever you are that you listen to us. We'll be coming your way same time tomorrow. DJ Rock will be taking over right as I step off. Bye.